Where's Gar? Were we waiting for him?
No, he's moved back home.
He literally left with...
I know, it sucks.
No, I can't have that.
I don't like it either.
Your call is completed. Long distance charges may apply.
Oh, you're calling him?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm mad.
I've just been sad. I've been crying all week.
Yeah. Gar, Greycaster Robo Lane here. I just want to say, how fucking dare you leave the show without even saying goodbye to me properly? You know how upset this makes me? I wanted to hear your thoughts on Saber in person. I wanted to talk to you and stuff. You still had Ultraman to watch? What the fuck, man? What do you have to say for yourself, huh?
It's terrifying and funny because I'm listening to the episode, so it's just a reverb.
Wow.
That's where you hang up, Gar.
Do I still get credit?
No.
Oh my god, he ruined the bit!
Cue the roll call.
We are live! Zenkaiger!
Connect. Loading. Broadcast.
Tempered Zeal! Bluecaster, Super Ichi!
Loud and impulsive. Greycaster. Lace.
Spark of Courage, the Power of Dreams. Orange Caster, Global Soft Perka.
Broadcasting hundreds of opinions across the world! Radio Sentai Castranger!
Welcome to Radio Sentai Castranger, episode 356. The
God.
one where Gar ruins the bit.
God damn it, Gar. All you had to do was fucking hang up. That was it.
You had one job.
That's classic Gar for you.
It's episode Dustclops.
Cool.
Sweet. Oh, I missed Duskull.
Clubs.
Yeah,
Who's that?
That's Gar.
Wait, Gar's here?
he's been listening.
Oh, hi. How is everything?
Everything's doing well.
See, look, Gar's still here. He never left. He can still be on the show.
Oh, yeah, he's right here. He's wearing my hat.
Actually, yeah, technically I could still be on the show, but unfortunately I didn't watch anything this week due to,
Moving?
some space issues.
Oh.
You were in space?
You live in space? Oh.
Yeah, Mars is not fun.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I heard it needs moms.
I mean,
For I'm working on an Ultraman trigger thing, and I thought to understand the character, I should go live on Mars. Then I realized there's no one there. It sucks. It's boring, just like the show. So,
I knew your hometown was dry, but I didn't think it was that dry.
oh yeah, it's pretty dry. Well, anyways, I'll let you all go.
Okay.
Enjoy the show.
I will. Thanks, Gar.
You want
Let's
maybe I'll be
start
on
the
next week for
show!
the premiere of Revice.
Oh boy,
That'd be nice.
Alright,
that'd be
until
real
next time,
nice with the Revice.
And until next time, fellow audience, schwa for now.
Schwa for now. Ah! Ultraman's gone! It is. Actually is. We recorded our last episode like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So, if you're tuning into us for the first time, apologies for all that in drama and jokes and whatever. That requires a lot of context.
I do miss Gar. I wish him all the best in his future endeavors and stuff. And
Yes, of course. We are a slightly less than numbered than usual. I don't, you know what I'm.
Hey, we're 3-man Sentai now.
I can't words now. We're 3-man Sentai who get together every week to talk about Kamen Rider Super Sentai, and usually a third thing, but today is a special week. Today is the end of Kamen Rider Saber. Technically not today, but this is the episode where we talk about it. And so, continuing with our proud, noble tradition, every time we reach the end of a series, we forego a special topic and instead take time to look back and discuss our feelings on the series as a whole.
They were going to do this last week, but I didn't want them doing it without me. So I was just like, I'm here next week.
I think we could have gotten away with it because last week was the final episode, but I think it's better that we did it this way because the epilogue does sort of count.
Oh, I have some shit to say about the final episode.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
So today we are talking about Kamen Rider Saber, episode 48, Zenkaiger, episode 25, and then we're going to get into our retrospective on Kamen Rider Saber as a whole.
Oh, boy.
And so, let's get into Saber! So, since you were not here the last couple of weeks, would you like to tell us, Mr. Grey Boy, your thoughts on the last few weeks?
Well, first off, my first problem with the finale was don't fucking make it look like you're killing off characters when you're not going to kill off characters. Like, literally, they made it look like every single character was going to die.
I mean, Toma and Yuri were out of the picture for a fucking year.
No, but, like, then, like, Yuri fucking was, like, crawling on his fucking, like, belly, going, healing
spent
everyone.
all his energy to heal them!
And then he, like, dies?
It's like the third time that's happened to him. He just goes back into his Pokeball. It's literally happened to him at least 2 other times.
Like, I was sad because I was like, oh, Yuri's gone. I'm like, he sacrificed himself so everyone else could live. I'm like, oh, that's really noble. And then just, and the year later, boom, pops out of his sword like nothing happened.
I mean, hey, I wouldn't have complained if Yuri had stayed dead, but that's not the way it happened.
Well, no, I'm glad he is alive because he's my favorite rider in this whole show. So Psycho's amazing.
The whole idea of doing the reboot the universe thing on the last episode doesn't really work if you also have it be in the last episode where all those characters end up dying, because it tricks you into being like assuming that they're going to come back, and then they do.
Also, I knew Stories was absolutely full of shit when he was like, oh no, I've always been evil. It's like, no, he created stories and stuff, and then he found the great book of everything, and it basically that's a Stanley reference, if everyone knows that.
Yeah.
He like found out that like, all the stories that were in it were already made, and he was just like, I can't make anything original. Well, fuck everyone. You'd think he would have read more into that book and like saw his inevitable demise.
I think he did, and that's why he was all, the world's gonna end, why should I give a fuck?
But it was nice seeing him like nice again.
Yeah.
Lego and stuff. But
now that I'm dead, I don't care.
I will say the biggest fucking complaint I have. Also that Luna turned into the fucking book. I fucking knew it.
I mean, we all knew that. We all saw that coming.
I'm so happy that happened. I hate that they just became Brave Dragon. Like,
yeah.
Toei, I don't know what the fuck this kind of new tradition you're doing, but it has to stop right the fuck now.
Stop it.
I do not want Revi to have this awesome fucking like new cool stamp of some kind, and then, it looks like Basic Rex.
No, you know what it'll be? What's that one fucking dino they made up for the other Jurassic Park film? The Carnosaurus?
Oh, the Indominus Rex.
The final form will be Indominus, and it will just be the Rex suit. With maybe with a tiny horn.
No. It's gonna be the genetically enhanced raptor that is operated with a gun. Pointing a gun at someone, and then the raptor targets it.
Oh my god!
Yeah, endlessly.
About the concept art for Jurassic World, when originally the plot was going to be about human dinosaur hybrids.
I mean, that would have been fucking awesome. Imagine a post-apocalyptic movie about like Jurassic Park. That'd be awesome.
Oh my god!
We are getting that. That's what the next Jurassic World movie is, but. The original Jurassic World was, I just said original like 30 times, I'm sorry.
Original.
Was originally going to be about the military doing experiments with dinosaurs and creating super soldiers that were dinosaur-human hybrids. Not far enough that there is concept art online for it, and it has been confirmed to have actually been intended for it. So
it's the fucking locust.
I'm very, very glad that is not the direction they went in, because that sounds like a parody.
Spoilers for Gears 5, you find out that the locusts, who are these subterranean fucking life forms, were actually artificially made by the government. So, no, legit, the locusts were made by us. We made them. We made the very enemies that fucking enslaved us and destroyed fucking half our world.
Okay, on that subject, spoilers for Prometheus and Alien Covenant and stuff like that.
Let's just spoil all the movies.
The Xenomorphs were so cool because they were mysterious. We didn't know where they came from. Knowing that they were made by an android who was butthurt does not
What?
It just makes them not cool anymore.
Yeah, no, the aliens were made by a robot. It's super
Yep,
funny.
an android. It's basically, the whole Alien franchise is about not playing God now.
Yeah.
I love how you're talking about all these.
What it was originally about was, here's an advanced life form that's like completely ununderstandable by humans. It's like the perfect killing machine. But now it turns out it was manufactured by an android who was upset to be the perfect killing machine. Which, I don't know. I know that that's canon and that's what actually happened, but I think that it does take a bit of the mystique out of the xenomorph being like a evolved perfect killing machine.
Yeah.
I love that you're talking about all these unsatisfying revelations behind all these amazing cinematic mysteries. Meanwhile, I'm over here finishing Danganronpa 3, which was 26 solid episodes of absolute satisfaction.
There you go. Anyways.
You are apparently in the minority there. A lot of people did not like it, and I'm very glad you did. Because everything I've heard about it, it sounds fine. So I don't understand why you wouldn't.
It was so good. It answered so much, and it was so nice. And then there were a couple episodes that make me want to rip my eyes out.
Just because of the gore?
Yep.
Anyways, so back to Sabers. So
yeah,
that's okay. We were talking about dinosaurs.
I still really like Prometheus and Covenant. It's just a weird, not where I expected the alien universe to go. That doesn't mean it's bad. It's just not what it seemed like they were going for originally.
Yeah.
All right. So, any more thoughts on?
Yeah.
47?
So the final thing that really fucking pissed me off. I will say though, May in the finale was much. She was amazing.
Also, I'm sorry for calling David butthurt. That was mean.
That's okay.
I couldn't think of a better word.
My biggest complaint though was just like Toma's sacrifice was very awesome, and I honestly forgot that it's like a year later, because like it doesn't really, it just happens. Yeah. It's like a year later, and then like he just comes back.
It's because he finished his book.
No, but that wasn't the point. He wasn't supposed to like finish a book or anything. He was supposed to stay in Wonderworld so the world's doesn't go to shit.
He pulled an anime protagonist. He used his own inner skills, writing novels, writing stories, to create a secret ending. He unlocked the true ending by writing it.
What the fuck ever.
I'm still pissed about how he managed to regenerate the world at all.
No, but that's the thing. Like,
it just shows all these clips of everyone like, I like this book, and then world's fixed.
Yeah, no, what they should have done was they should have made it that Toma had to make the ultimate sacrifice to make sure that like while stays in Wonderworld, our world's fine.
That was the situation that was posited to us.
No, but that should have been, and Toma should have just stayed there, and then until like the Saber Revice crossover film, like they find some MacGuffin that like retcons and
okay, you know what? Back. You know what?
Make the sacrifice genuine.
You know what? I actually agree with you. Now that I think about it, having him stay in Wonderworld until the next film would have been a really good idea, I think.
I honestly agree with you, because it's knowing that he is there, but he just can't go back to everybody.
And like imagine
that he's doing his job.
It
have some weight to it.
It makes it a beautifully bittersweet ending. And like kind of like what Blade did.
Yeah, and like imagine like Kento, you know, he's so like he knows Toma had to make the sacrifice, but he just feels so, you know, he knows he had to do it, and then he takes up the RECA, and like for Toma for like the time being, he takes up the mantle of Saber until he knows Toma's going to come back.
No, Jerry in our chat just gave me the perfect idea. You know how it should have ended? Mm. Toma should have been the new Tassel.
That's thought.
And it ends with him being like, Toma.
Like he wouldn't be all
his own catchphrase.
He wouldn't be all extra about it, but like just him like smiling at the camera, like
just think of it. Like Tassel was just the caretaker.
Yeah,
he was the caretaker of this beautiful mystical world.
And now it's Toma.
And like, I gotta say, like, I know this is probably better saved for like the retrospective, but like, they should have gone to Wonderworld, like.
Yes.
Period.
Way more.
Like the end of the fucking show should have been like the last 5 episodes should have been in Wonderworld.
It should have been just like Digimon Tamers, where they go to the digital world.
Like Luna's dying in our world, and so they realize, oh, if we go to Wonderworld, we can preserve her life force, and she can stay alive. So they go to Wonderworld, but then they realize like stories can do more damage by destroying Wonderworld, and then they realize Toma, like they have a chance to get back, but Toma has to stay behind for them to like make sure that Wonderworld doesn't get destroyed and our world's safe.
And I think they could have like kept cost because like I think they didn't do that because they would have like being in Wonderworld would have been too budget intensive.
Yeah.
But what I think they could have done is have half the because there were so many fucking riders, have half the team go to Wonderworld and the other half stay behind to defend Earth.
Exactly. That's why you should.
Then we could have gotten stories on both sides.
It should have been Logos and fucking Storius teaming up, and like you have Logos fighting in the real world, Storius fighting in Wonderworld. So you have like. Espada, Blades, and Saber fighting Storius, and then you have all the other riders fighting Master Logos because he got the complete tome.
That would have been so cool.
And it would have been a fucking awesome, epic fight, and then just, like...
And then, like...
Because Toma's so pure-hearted of a protagonist, he would make the willing sacrifice to fucking stay...
We could have had a really awesome scene where, like, the two final battles are happening at the same time, and the barrier between worlds is breaking.
Exactly!
And then they all throw their final attacks at the same time.
Maybe even have like Storius brings Logos back to life as like a mindless zombie to like have them fight. Like it should have been fucking Solomon teaming up with the 4 sages against the other Saber Riders.
No, you know what it was? You know what should have happened? Like as everyone's fighting, the barrier between worlds is breaking. Storius realizes he's losing. He then sucks everyone into some sort of halfway dimension between worlds and absorbs Logos and becomes Kamen Rider Storius. And then everyone groups up for the final fight.
Exactly. Oh, man.
See? My JRPG brain knows what to do with this story.
Oh, Blaze, don't spoil anything, but how was Shang-Chi?
I'm seeing it tomorrow in VIP.
I'm probably going to see it next week. So
It was good?
It was good.
All right. Any more thoughts on the previous episode?
No. I got what I needed to say. The finale, it was very sweet.
Yeah.
It was awesome, but I just feel like they rushed the whole Toma coming back like a bit too much. They should have just kept them.
If anything, they should have just saved that for this episode. At least make us wait a week.
No, but you know what? I think it would have been way more enjoyable for Toma not being in this episode, and it's the other Saber Riders who have to deal with Revived Vice.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, Toma doesn't get to meet them until the crossover.
Yeah.
I just think that would have been better. But anyways, yeah, so we get a staycation for them, which was actually kind of adorable.
The guild's on staycation.
Sophia's even chilling out on a fucking lawn chair with sunglasses. It's got a drink, and I'm like... And like Yuri's just like Yuri's drinking eating like a snow cone, and he just like keeps getting like a brain freeze. And
also he can't handle the light.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Emily.
I just said there were like inflatable animals everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny that he kept getting brain freeze because I had that exact same sensation today, where like I bought an ice cap like before I took the train to Toronto. And, like, every sip I kept taking, I kept getting a more and more intense brain freeze where I actually had to throw my ice cap out because I didn't want to keep experiencing it. It was really bugging me.
That sucks.
So, but yeah, let's get into the elephant in the room. The one thing that we've been waiting for this whole series was the Mei Rintaro ship.
My boy...
But they messed that up!
My boy tripped over the finish line!
Like,
we were so close!
Like, in the end, we got it. They're a couple. They're an item.
Sorry, go ahead, Emily. We keep over...
Might have gotten beaten out by the brother.
Yeah! They just pulled Ryoga suddenly having a thing for Mei out of their ass.
Grandel has feelings for Mei for some goddamn reason.
That came out of nowhere!
Reika being, like, fired up and pissed off is funny.
Sure.
Remember when she used to be a stone cold bitch?
We'll talk about her when we get into the retrospective.
She's very soon.
Yeah, I think they did everything they possibly could to imply that they became a couple without actually having the conversation.
Matching clothes.
They have matching clothes in the end, and I'm just floored to see Rintaro wear normal clothes.
Yeah. We've only ever seen him, like, with his uniform on, him shirtless, him in a suit.
No, Reika doesn't have Majin because she's in another dimension.
Yeah, the actor's the fan of Majin.
Yeah. So apparently Ren just decided to fuck off and go on a sword swinging journey.
And we just get a quick cut to him shirtless doing some sword play, and I will say Ren's actor's pretty fucking ripped. Like, my God. I noticed.
I didn't need to see that pasty ass chest.
Yeah, he had an APAC. He was shredded.
His untrimmed chest.
Kenzan was shredded.
And then what happens when Ren comes back to the guild? I'm gonna go on another soul searching journey. That's nice, Ren. Go ahead.
You're the kind of guy who overgrinds in RPGs.
He's like the over cocky fucking player.
Yeah.
Like he joins like a role playing server and he just doesn't take it seriously. Like,
he's the kind of guy who would join a role playing server and then try and like be as powerful as possible.
I have all the powers I want.
Yeah. I grind for 5 hours off screen and level up before we start.
Oh yeah, no, Durandal fucking smiling is 1,000 dead puppies.
Yeah. But
1,000 dead puppies?
it's a Kaiba abridged joke.
Yeah, every time Kaiba smiled in Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge, like, it was just like 100 dead puppies.
I don't.
That's how cursed it was. It was a meme.
This is mean.
So anyway, Ryoga and Reika walk in the middle of the staycation, and Ryoga challenges Rentaro to battle. And when Rentaro kicks his ass, as he damn well should, it's implied that Rentaro is going to be the new Master Logos.
Which, yes, duh.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
No shit.
But of course,
he's the most dedicated to the guild. Of course, he's more than worthy to lead it.
But of course, Rentaro is the ultimate good boy and decides that there will no longer be a Master Logos. There will now be a Council of Logos.
It's a council forward.
So Rentaro, Ryoga, Sophia
and Yuri.
And yeah, they all form the four Warriors of Light. I mean, the Council of Logos.
And then like Yuri's like Victor, fucked. Thank you. And I'm just like, all right, Tassel's dead.
Just like, are you watching Victor Bahato? You dead fucks.
I was
it was
like,
a good
Tassel's
idea
dead.
to have it be a council, though.
I outlived you all.
Yeah, the Council of Swords. Ching.
And thus the Republic of Logos was born. Apparently there are other ride books out in the world that haven't been collected yet, so that's why Sophia says we're gonna keep operating.
Siren's one of those books.
I guess.
Whoa.
One's from the new movie, I guess.
And then Ogami is retiring to focus on fathering, and Daishinji is going back to crafting.
Making more swords.
Yeah, he says he wants to make a new Seiken. That's exciting. Maybe that'll be the new one. Maybe there'll be a new one in the movie. Maybe he's the one who makes the Ikazuchi upgrade.
Maybe.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Kento's just like, power over the butt. Also, I'm gonna quickly get into this because like I talked about this with Ichi, so when we were watching the episode. So we got a lot of Toma and Kento chilling, hanging out together as bros.
I believe the ship is called Kentoma.
I like that. Hey, quick! Someone fused both Saber and Spada's suits together.
You mean the one time Saber used Alangina?
Yeah, that was great.
That already exists.
No, but I want like half Saber, half a Spada.
Oh.
Anyways, so
I could shoot that up.
Yeah. Anyways, honestly, I loved seeing their friendship and stuff in this episode so much that it made me think Kento should have been the secondary rider. It should have been like not saying he should have been Blades. I'm just saying that because
I think he had the most story progression because he was the tertiary rider. All the tertiary riders get the most plot.
No, but I feel like he should have been the secondary because like it just like because we thought Toma and Rentaro was going to have this like great friendship, and then it was like. No, they just had really huge mutual respect for each other.
I will say, Toma and Rentaro didn't have as much interaction as I was hoping for.
They were just freaking, what's the term?
Work colleagues?
No, something in arms.
Comrades in arms?
Comrades in arms. They were just, like, very well respected.
They were Nakama.
Yeah. But, like, it's just, every time, like, I saw, like, him with Kento, it was just, like, it was just so, and that's why, like Kento dying, like especially if he was a secondary rider, Kento dying, coming back as Caliber and being like not evil but like anti-hero-ish.
Yeah. Like
it just would have been more impactful for Toma in the story.
I mean, they were childhood friends.
So. Exactly, and that's why I feel like that would have been such a good way for the show to like go through its story with having like the main and secondary writers being old childhood friends, and it just makes the main and secondary writer dynamic way more intense and emotional. You know, because you didn't get that with Rintaro, but you got that with Kento.
Yeah,
so
I don't know.
I feel like Kento should have been the secondary.
So the other plot in this episode is our preview for Revice. The Bata Vice stamp gets used by one of these 3 children that we meet.
And I gotta fucking say, throughout this episode, sometimes you just hear Bata! And then it just scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, every time the Bata Deadman, I guess it's called, showed up. It was weird and angular, and I guess all those monsters are going to have that kind of aesthetic.
It was basically a giant grasshopper on a pair of human legs.
I was with legs sticking out.
And it was just legs sticking out of a grasshopper. It was weirdly proportioned.
Yeah.
So, but I think that's the whole point of Deadmans.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't expecting Vice farting to be a thing.
Yeah.
No, okay.
I'll get into that.
I have to get into Vice. Vice is amazing. I love him. He's like a dirtier. He's like a Momotaros is like GPG rated. Vice is 14A.
You know what? That's pretty accurate.
Yeah, Vice is the 14A Momotaros. Because like Momotaros would
farts, that makes him 14A.
Yeah, he farts. He comes out of fucking Iki's ear, nose, and stuff.
His ear first, and then his fucking mouth.
And then it like actually muffled his speech when he was talking with them in his mouth. Like,
all right, I'm getting into this. I fucking hate it. I hate that Vice is such an asshole. Partially, literally. I hate that he farts. I hate that he sticks out of Iki's fucking face.
No, I love their dynamic.
I hate it.
No, I love it. It's such
an. Every time I hear Iki's name, I'm gonna think about Mediva.
Yeah, right.
Because like again, I've been talking about this like ever since like Revice was like announced and when we learned what they were gonna be. I love that they're a pair. Like you're not gonna have one without the other.
I just want Vice to be dubbed over by Mediva now.
You called me a piece of shit! Yeah!
That would make almost too much sense.
Oh man. But just like
there's your shop.
I love that they're see that's gorgeous. Look at that.
Yep.
That's really good. But just like I like that they're like they make up one Kamen Rider. And that's why like you'll like this is the biggest prime example. So like Toei released this official image of like all the riders from Showa to now. And I just love at the very center. There's Revive, but there's Vice as well because they're 2 in 1.
Because it's Kamen Rider Revice.
It's a double. It's a 2-package deal. And like
double was 2 for 1, and Revice is 2 in 1.
Yeah, so that's why like
rather the other way. I meant that the other way around.
And that's why I'm really hoping that when they release the SH figure arts of Revive and Vice is a 2-pack.
I could see them doing that,
and it'll make me furious. And very upset. If, like, Revive is a standalone retail release, and then Vice is a fucking premium band, like Tamashii Web exclusive.
That would be a dick move.
That'll piss me off.
Sadly imagine them doing that, but I really hope they don't.
Let's remember that when they put out figure arts of Exade, they initially released Exade, Brave, and Snipe as a 3-pack.
Yeah, because those are the... Yeah. But it just... I already from, like, this little bit we got, like... Vice just, like, fucking runs in and he, like, jumps, leaps in the air trying to get the monster and, like, you know, he collapses and then he farts and stuff. And then just Revive just fucking runs in there and, like, jumps over and you don't think he's gonna get him, but then he knocks Vice over and he climbs on top of him and he's like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, hey, get the fuck up. He's like, no, you're being fucking stupid right now. We gotta fucking get to work.
I will say.
Stop fucking lying to me. There's a monster. Yeah, there's a monster. Okay, fine, you're not lying, but, like, it's so fun.
I will say.
Fun.
I will say, the antics of Revive just giving Vice an absolute fucking shit kicking, I enjoyed. And I hope there's a lot of that. Because Vice fucking deserves it.
The movie, because this is what I've heard Venom is like.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we found out that the Venom
Iki,
2...
you're a loser!
We found out Venom's 2 is going to be PG-13, so it won't be as...
Hooray!
It won't be gruesome for you. It's like going to be like Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that picture of Vice, like, up there. It's just like, he peels, eyes peeled, and how cool I am. And I'm just like, no, he's great. I love it.
I love that at one point, Iki just casually drops the line, everyone has a demon in their heart. And I'm just like,
oh yeah,
what?
We already got a preview, so only Iki can see Vice as a ghost, and I think in the show that's gonna be fucking hilarious because it's just gonna make him look like he's fucking crazy,
especially when he sticks out of his fucking mouth.
So to everyone else, is he just gonna sound like he's got something in his mouth? But
as we saw in this episode, whenever Vice comes out of his mouth, Iki's just gonna be staring up at nothing, going, "What the fuck are you doing? Get back in here!"
I hope he comes out of his butt one time.
Oh my god, he's totally going to!
Yeah, no, I'm expecting that.
Ah!
What did you say?
I said I hope he comes out of his butt at one point.
No!
I like literally from seeing the preview of these two, I'm so goddamn excited for the show. It's gonna be so wacky, so fun. Also, we get introduced to another great character, George, the creator of the Revice system,
the Rider Weeb.
I love that he has these adorable little keychains of the other Reiwa riders,
and he's got stickers of all the riders on his phone and a fucking selfie stick.
His name is George. Yeah, there he is. He's got a selfie stick with a phone case that has riders on them, and he's just like really obsessed. And he goes like, "Nice."
So you were asking the question that I think needs to be asked. So wait, if the shows are crossing over and in Revice all of the riders are TV shows, then what the fuck with the Saber being real?
Maybe Saber doesn't count. Maybe it ended at 0-1.
But he's got plushies of 0-1 and Saber.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe it's just a weird fucking...
Maybe this episode is not canon to Revice. And this is just like their world's version of Revice. I don't know.
Maybe.
A dream, maybe? Like George wakes up and he's like, I had a dream about Saber.
That's my favorite. I love that just like the developer of this system and stuff is just named George. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because it's an easy name to remember, right? Like he has like a Japanese last name, obviously, but just his first name is George. But no, like from what I've seen of Revi and Vice and like Iki and Vice, whatever like that, like in this, I'm excited. They're gonna be they're gonna be such a fun pair. It's gonna be great seeing them on screen. I can't wait for the episode where like one of them has an argument with the other, and then like they get separated, and like Iki can't transform without Vice because like he needs them to do it.
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
I could see him becoming.
He goes back in him and stuff when he.
I could see him becoming Revive without Vice.
Well, it's like. It's like Deno situation, kind of like where like he can use the other 4 weapon forms, but like he just doesn't have the combat to do it, you know. So
I don't know.
But yeah, I'm just fucking stoked, and like we get these three friends, 2 guys and a girl, who are like hanging out together.
Oh, look, it's the next generation of Kentoma Luna.
Kentoma Luna and Kento.
I love that when she finally runs into the 2 of them. She just, like, fucking kicks their asses.
No, I like that 2 of them, like, fucking fanboy and fangirl over Toma, because they're like, oh my god, I love your book!
Oh my god, it's Kamiyama Sensei!
Because, like, May promoted the fuck out of Toma's book.
Yeah.
And it sold really well, apparently.
Oh, I also love that, like, so the reason these 3 kids are having an argument is the one kid who plays soccer is, like, going overseas. But they had agreed to meet up at, like, the Promise Tree, because where the fuck else is there to meet in this series? But, like, the soccer kid is like, nah, I'm not gonna bother. It's too painful. And I just, like, cue Toma in behind him, his eyes flashing red. Did I just hear someone not fulfilling a promise over here? I don't fucking think so!
They kind of dropped that whole promise thing near the end of the show, honestly,
yeah.
I noticed.
I wanted more of that.
Not in this episode.
No.
I would have loved to see more of that. Like, every time he meets another person, they have a problem that related to not fulfilling a promise, and Toma goes, fucking knock that shit off!
But yeah, like, there wasn't much else to go on this episode. It was mostly just like, oh, here's Revi and Vice, and then Vice is like, oh, you get to see us debut next week. We're gonna be fucking awesome.
We're wacky. I also like that Kento's decided to work at Toma's bookstore. That was cool.
That was very sweet. And I'm like, now I just want to see in like the Saber crossover movie, just like Kento and Toma working in the bookstore.
Yeah. Also, yeah, Yuri could see Vice, and then he killed him with his light.
Well,
Yeah, and then he was
He's
like, just kidding.
just kidding, fuck you, keep watching the show. Coming out next week.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no. Revive Vice, like, I don't know, like, in terms of, like, merch, I'm not going to say I'm all in for it, but, like, for watching the show,
Let's see.
I'm
You
in.
bought the driver, you bought the Megalodon stamp, you're buying the phone gun. I'd say you're pretty into the merch.
Well, I need to get the holders.
And the holder.
Yeah. And then,
Oh, I'm not buying Rider merch anymore. I don't have room for it.
I'll find room for it. You should see my dresser. It's just covered in, like, Toku toys I've bought in the past, like, 3 months.
So what you do is get one of those tiny shelving units from IKEA and put it on top. That way you have more room.
There you go. It's true.
That way you can buy more.
I mean, when Kelly and I get our own place, she's promised that I get my own, like, room to, like, put
The
all my
museum?
stuff in. Yeah, well, like, it's going to be a big room for, like, my entire collection and my gaming room area, so,
Cool.
yeah, it's going to be sweet. But no, I'm 100% all in for Revice. I can't wait. It's going to be a fun-ass show.
Yeah.
Just, I think Revive Vice is exactly, like, what we've been needing.
I don't know.
Fun rider
I just
dynamic.
passively said, yeah, agreeing with you, even though I'm completely opposite. I'm not looking forward
I hope you turn around, man.
Maybe one of the secondary riders will be cool, but until then, I'm just going to be dragging through this show. You like
humor. I think I feel like if the humor's really good, then you'll enjoy the humor.
Maybe the show will make up for it with its humor the way Zenkaiger kind of is.
Fuck that. Well, let's get into Zenkaiger then.
Sure.
Shade to Zenkai.
Usually we go. I completely forgot we were going to do Zenkaiger first and then do Saber and then the rest of them. Fuck it, we're changing up. Zenkaiger time! Woo! Alright, so before we get into this week's episode, what did you think of the last couple?
Okay, first off, the Stacy Kaito duel was fantastic. It was a really well-written episode. I really liked that scene where, like, Kaito and Zuran were, like, sitting at a ramen cart, and they were just kind of, like, talking
nice.
seriously. That was very nice, because, like, Zuran's not... I wouldn't say that he's, like, a father figure for Kaito. He's just more of, like, a big brother who's just looking out for him.
It's a cool brother, yeah.
And like, I wish... Because the duel between Kaito and Stacy was super fucking great. I loved it. But then they had to interrupt it by him being a cheating fucking bastard, summoning 2 separate Sentai teams, and having Zox and the other Zenkaigers fucking fight too. And I'm like, no, it's not these 2!
We'll probably have another duel later.
And then the beach episode, my god. Fucking fantastic. Fun as hell. That was the funnest Zenkaiger episode I've ever seen. It was a vacation. Put the entire world on vacation. But then I saw them launch fireworks, and I was like, wait, who's launching those fireworks? That's not fun.
That's what I was
That's
thinking
work.
too, like who, if the fireworks people are on vacation, then who's doing that?
I liked the buff-ass fucking Mook. That was hilarious.
Yep.
And just, I love the, what's his name? Bokuwatsu, whatever?
Bokuwaus?
Yeah, the big general.
Yeah. Oh, Bara Shitara.
Yeah, Bara Shitara. The reason he's mad is because he didn't go on vacation first, because he's the higher-up.
Yep.
So, that was funny. Seeing the giant in the bikini, that was fucking hilarious.
Yep.
It was fun. It was super fun. I love even like the general came down. He's just like, what the fuck's going on here? And then you see him vacationing too.
Yep.
It's just like whatever. And then the best thing was like during the opening where they like you have the shot of them and the shop is just empty.
I loved it.
And then the air horn roll call.
There was no reason for that. I knew you were gonna love that.
Fucking killed me. It just kept
it.
progressively going, just more. I wish Stacy was in it because they were gonna go on like a dark air horn. Oh, that would have been so good. Like I'm smiling. I'm hurting. My face hurts from smiling so much, just because the beach episode was just a blast. It was so like Zenkaiger.
I accidentally said vuvuzelas when I meant air horns.
Like I will say, in terms of like. This show's been fun, but like it hasn't been as funny as Kira Major was, because Kira Major was just funny.
The thing is, Kira Major was funny and excellent.
Yeah, the Mabushina drunk episode just top comedy. Nothing beats her slamming her fucking head into that desk.
I still think it's the funniest episode of any tokusatsu I've ever seen.
It was so good. But Zenkaiger's just been it like I get we want plot, but I just feel like as it's just a show, it's been fun. And you know what? That's kind of what I want. That's kind of what we need right now when we're in this pandemic. Is like we need fun.
Yeah.
Because like remember. Forze was supposed to be a serious fucking show for the 40th anniversary, and then the earthquake and tsunami happened, and so then they turned it into a fun, happy-go-lucky show.
Turn up the jams!
To make everyone happier and feel good. So, like, I just, like, I think people are expecting too much serious now, and, like, I was honestly the same way, too, for a while, but now I just kind of want fun in my toku.
There's room for both. As I've always said, my favorite thing about tokusatsu is its juxtaposition between its seriousness and its hilarity.
I think that Revice has a lot of promise. And I think this Zenkaiger has been just great.
Yeah, the last 2 episodes of Zenkaiger were just, like, really fucking great. And, like, this one was a recap episode. It was an excuse to
This whole fucking shit was the flimsiest pretext possible for a goddamn recap episode. I am livid.
I would even say it's not the flimsiest I've ever seen. Excuse me.
How they did it was pretty clever, I gotta admit. They like go back in time.
They couldn't even be asked to create a new monster. They composited High Noon World and Retro World into fucking Sundial World.
Sundial World. Gave him a cool ass sword.
They kit bashed a monster for a recap episode.
But I'm going to say this, Emily. I'm expecting that you were very happy to see this, but Set-chan was the hero of the day. In the end of the day,
it was nice to see that, especially since I was very afraid because of the controversy of his voice actor that they'd end up getting rid of him.
Oh, that's Gege.
Set-chan's the Red Bird.
Like, oh god.
No, we're talking about the Red Bird, Set-chan.
Oh, we're talking. Oh, yeah, it's Gege who's voice actor.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just sort of put on the spot here. Now I feel really embarrassed.
Well, no, I'm just saying. I like to think you were happy that Set-chan, like the Red Bird, was really happy. Like was like the hero at the end of the day.
I was. I just feel bad because I thought that it was Set-chan's voice actor that was the problem.
No, it was the Evil Bird.
It was the Evil Bird.
Yeah, who I still think might end up being really important.
Yes.
Oh no, and like I was saying in extra,
if he's important enough to be recast.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like in his like his new in the extra, I was saying that his new voice actor, like actually, I like it better because he sounds more like sinister and diabolical. I think that really works for him.
Explain that in universe, like
probably not.
I had, like a voice chip problem.
I think the new actor is trying to sound like the old one.
Yeah.
And so they're just gonna ignore it.
Also, I noticed apparently that Stacy's nickname is the Cyborg Prince.
I guess I
saw that somewhere.
I don't know.
Yeah, so I guess
Stacy the Cyborg Prince.
Stacy's a cyborg.
I mean, he's the son of the boss, and he's half robot. So yeah,
that's true. Well,
I guess he is the Cyborg Prince. Yeah.
So basically, what this episode does, it's literally Zenkaiger 2. We've had Tokuger 2.
It's like we had the guys get gathered, but it was so quick and rushed that it didn't have the impact it did when they were gathered originally, but I guess that's kind of the point.
Excellent news. My revised driver just shipped now.
Nice.
So I'll be getting it by the...
Stamp that one as shipped.
Early as the 15th of September, apparently, but it'll probably be earlier than that. Probably sometime next week.
Cool.
So I will, as soon as I get it and when I can go back on Castranger, then I will bring it.
So, Sundial World, his plan is to go back in time and stop the Zenkaigers from ever becoming a thing. And holy hell, does he fuck that up royal.
It's like, I love it. He
Complete
goes,
and utter failure.
So yeah, like he goes to Ijirude or whatever like that and tells him like, yeah, I'm from the future and stuff. And he's like, if you have time traveling abilities, why would you give it to a fucking lame ass soldier like you?
Time travel? Get that shit out of here!
Fuck out of here! And then he goes to tell like Stacy, and Stacy's just like, "You're stupid. Go away." And shoots him.
all his bosses won't listen to him,
And
so
then-
he just has to live through the entire 25-episode timeline trying to talk to them and getting shit kicked.
Yeah, and like Sechan, he has Sechan kidnapped, so he has him like locked, and like
Yep.
he keeps and he meets up with the other Sechan, and they actually like tag team and like fucking defeat him.
Yo, that fucking sequence looked like they were about to DNA Digivolve.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic.
It looked like they were going to DNA Digital.
Yo, I want to see giant Sechan.
Super Sechan.
Yo, Sechan Zord? When?
Ooh,
Make him the final Zord.
that'd be
That
cool.
would be
Fucking
cool
sick.
if he was part of it somehow.
Yeah, come
Like,
on.
he just turns into giant wings on the back of Zenkaiger.
Oh, I forgot to mention one thing about the beach episode.
Uh-huh.
Flint looked really adorable in fucking bathing
Sure.
suit. Anyways, also I like that Zox had his hair gelled back.
Yeah.
Summer clothes. Also, we got the Zox song again. We debuted.
Oh boy, because that's what I want to hear.
Why don't you
Oh
want
my
to
God.
hear the Zox song?
I don't like
He doesn't
it.
like Zox's song. I do. I love the entire Gold Tweaker family.
I will say the fucking theme song for Super Zenkaiger has been like in my brain nonstop.
It's pretty good.
It's real good. I love the moment where like they time freeze Flint and she's just like standing there with this fucking smirk on her face.
Yeah.
It's kind of creepy sometimes.
A little bit. And then the next shot, she's clearly not standing still at all. She's trying, but she's just really bad at it.
You know why? It's because she has a very big smile, and then she has
Thank God you said smile.
a big smile and then very bushy eyebrows.
Yeah.
Very bushy eyebrows, I've noticed. But yeah, and then he lives through the 25 episodes of the show.
Everything
And then-
happens exactly as it did.
But then Seichan warns the Zenkaigers about him coming up, so like apparently since like day one, so like
Yeah.
they knew to expect him eventually.
I just love, like, oh no, the Zenkaigers have let their guard down, and you just see them all lying about, just like passively shooting at him.
Oh no, there he is! Shoot him!
This was a very weird episode.
Yeah. And then they use the Zoo Ranger gear and do Babel attack, and then the monster dies, and there's no sword fight. Because,
No.
like, this episode didn't put any effort in. Why should anyone else?
Yep. And we got the scene again where like Gowan like takes off the mushroom to like get ready to fight, and then just,
Yeah.
the mushroom pops up.
That's some Junko Enoshima shit.
So there wasn't much that happened. It was a recap episode, so like it still was funny.
Next week is Stay Caesar's power up and the Black Zuragaan.
Honestly, the more Stacy we get, the better.
Yes.
I like Stacy
I
a lot.
agree.
Stacy's great. Stacy and Duran are honestly the two best characters in the show.
They're the only ones I don't hate.
Oh.
Well, yeah, Chan's fine.
Yeah, Gowan's still my least favorite. I hate that fucker. Racist bastard.
There's that.
Very not like his own kind.
Alright, I guess let's go back to Saber.
Whip!
Alright. Kamen Rider Saber.
Well, you gotta talk last because I know you have the most to say.
Sure.
So. Emily, what did you think of Saber?
That's a pretty big question.
Do you need time to think on it? Because I can go first if you want.
It's okay. I've been trying to think about it for the episode all day.
Yeah, we can talk about the show as a whole, how the story progressed, your thoughts on all the main characters, the villains, suit designs.
Shouldn't we go like in order, like categories then?
Yeah, that's probably best.
Okay, so what's the first category?
I guess story.
I really, really like the message of Saber and the general idea of Saber about the power of stories and all of that, but I feel like the actual show sort of dragged on a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like there was a lot of loose ends that were never really tied up. It felt like there were too many main characters again, which I know happens a lot in Kamen Rider.
Yeah, every few shows.
They probably should have had it be just like 3 or 4.
I don't know. I always like having more options to choose from.
Problem is that means that there will inevitably be people who are left by the wayside and not get enough development.
Just for me, it was just like like overall for Saber for me, it was okay because like I wasn't really hyped about the theme to begin with. Because like when we found out it was about like swordsmen and like books and stuff like that, I was like, because I was honestly, I'm gonna be straight honest about this. I was more excited watching you enjoy it because I saw you
excited whenever you were excited.
So I saw you blow up for Blades, and like when you saw Blades, I was
blow up for Blades.
Like I was sitting there, and I actually thought this to myself. I'm like, I would love if Blades ended up becoming Yuki's all-time favorite Kamen Rider. And then the day you said it, I was just like, yes.
I've got Nagare right next to you right now.
Well, pretty much almost every single piece of Blades March possible. You have his fucking 1-to-1 scale Seiken coming in.
Yep.
So that's exciting.
That's awesome.
Can't wait for you to mount that on your fucking wall behind you.
I might just like put like a big shelf and put all the Blade shit up there.
Fucking do it. And I just, I was more excited watching you enjoy it. And so, like, that's why, like, when it, like, teetered a bit, like, you were a bit upset. And I was like, I wanted the show to be good for you.
It felt like it was dragging. I thought, like, Ichi really loves this season.
Thank you. That's very sweet of you guys.
Yeah, well,
legitimately, like, just, it was great seeing you love it so much.
Yeah, I loved watching you enjoy this show. And just, so for me, I'm just like, I feel like it could have been a bit more serious because, like, I've already, like, throughout the show, I've talked about how it could have been so much better, and like they could have implemented Master Logo so much better. They could have done like an Eisen thing with them, and it would have been so much better. Have him be this really well loved, trusting fucking ally, and then he just betrays all of them near the end. And it would have been just more impactful. So I just feel like it should have been more impactful. It should have been kind of taken some pages from Gaim, I think, where they should have killed off some characters. Like, he made the joke that, like, oh, Buster's going to be the first one to fucking die. I'm not kidding. I actually wanted him to. I wanted Kenzan to be killed by Kento when he was Caliber, because I feel like that just would have been more impact. I'm sorry. Just, like, when it comes to a show like this, I feel like death would have been a nice addition to, like, making the story go on. I know it does.
Dramatically speaking.
Yeah, so like
I know that's what you mean, but it's just like, I'd like people to die.
I'd like some death, please.
Yeah, so like when Buster got turned to stone, like, you know, like something happened.
There were so many fake outs.
Like a Hisatsu goes wrong and he accidentally shatters Ogami in the process, and then he just doesn't come back. And then you see like Toma handing Sora his sword, his Seiken.
Maybe instead of death, he could end up with a disability, like losing his arm.
I feel like
he can't be a rider anymore.
I feel like they could have gotten away with him just being trapped in stone for the rest of the show. He's not dead, but he's not coming back.
Yeah. And like, you see Sora, like a scene where like Sora like looks up at him, like he comes by every day to like look at his dad and like holds his hand, and he's like, I hope you come back soon, Dad. Like,
and then he could have come back in the finale or in the movie.
Yeah, it did like the tear thing where tear drops on him, and then the magic power of love brings him back.
I was gonna say, Pokemon
sure,
movie?
why the fuck not? It was, you know what, made us all cry hell when we saw the movie. So, but just so like the story for me, I feel like could have been a bit more serious, you know, and it just like I don't know, I felt like it was a bit all over the place, and they tried to like give characters enough screen time, but like there was just too many characters, I think. Because like I always say, the reason Drive worked so well was because there were only 3 riders, but then it had all these other side characters who like did minuscule things, but they made such a huge impact and left such a huge impact on the show.
Every time someone says that Saber had too many characters, my counterpoint is always Gaim. That show had plenty of characters, and I think many of them had significant character development.
They died.
Yeah, I agree for what I
said. And yes, some of them dying does contribute.
So that's why like I was pissed off with like the final battle, because like they did all these like fake outs, and I'm like either kill them or don't.
Either shit or get off the pot.
Yeah. So that's for me. I feel like the story could have been a lot better. We didn't get to see this, like, in that shot in the opening with Caliber, we see, like, this giant chained-up fucking book, and I was kind of excited to see what that was going to be about.
I think that
they never mentioned it.
I think that was a reference to the big omniscient tome.
Which, that would have been cool. Like, imagine there was this, like, dark side of Wonderworld, and that's where, like, the big tome was.
That's where fanfiction comes from.
For Rule 34 is
Sojin World.
No, but like imagine there was this dark side of Wonderworld, and like that's where like the book was locked up and it was trying to get out. Not because it was evil, it's because it was being imprisoned by Storia. Like the Megiddos fucking locked it in there, and like Tassel didn't know about it or anything like that.
Yeah.
So so like the story was I just wasn't big overall in the whole theme, and I just feel like it could have been a bit more serious, like if it had more impact, more what's the more consequence.
Yeah. You know what? I agree with you on that.
Like more at stake.
Yeah.
More at stake. Like it's just like erasing the world. No, like it'd be more impactful if like a part of the world was destroyed, not the whole.
I was fine with the erasure of the world thing. I just think the fact that the whole Toma and the power of people's love for books just fixed the world in an instant.
You're just there for my book.
I will like show the world coming back.
Yeah.
Is that so hard? Even playing the fucking effect in reverse, I would have been fine.
Exactly. They already had the shot of the world being fucking.
They could have just gone. It's back.
It's full Superman.
It would have been lazy, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like if the story had more at stake and more consequence, then like it would have been really like holy shit. Like because like I hate to say this, death is memorable.
I mean, look at me. I've been gushing for weeks and weeks about Danganronpa.
Gaim's like fucking 8 years old, and I still remember the exact shot of Sid being crushed between those two fucking rocks.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. That is in my brain forever.
I also
that is red fucking free in my head.
Yeah.
I remember we started the fucking episode, we're just like, Sid's dead!
Yep. So, I agree with what you're saying, that the show should have had more consequence, more impact. For me, my biggest problem is, I feel like the show can be described as so much missed opportunity. I love the motif. I love the gimmick. The suit design was amazing, but we'll talk about the suits in a bit.
Yep.
I like when there's lots of characters, because it means everyone can pick a favorite. And there was so much potential with what they could have done with this show, and they just dropped the ball left and right. It started so strong. It was so good. My JRPG brain was flared up with like, oh my god, I can't wait to see what they do next. Like things like the fucking stock henshin sequences that they stopped doing. Those were so
really
amazing.
cool when they did them, though.
Like, the head writer at the conference promised. He was like, I apologize for Ghost and leaving during Ghost. I will not leave during this. You fucking lied.
Lies!
Liar!
You lie, Dark!
So, like,
I
didn't listen to what I didn't listen to what Agar's overall thoughts on Saber was yet, but I'm assuming he was basically,
Yeah, pretty much.
he just probably didn't care. And, like, I've been trying to tell Agar this, like, he probably should just stop watching Rider, because I just know he's not interested. He's just not, he doesn't like it. He doesn't like it anymore. He doesn't like the past, like, few seasons.
Yeah, I don't know.
He tried to really like Zero One, and then he just couldn't like Zero One that much.
Yeah, but, so in terms of story, I tried really hard to like it because the motifs were so in my wheelhouse, and some of the characters were really interesting and had great potential, but I just feel like this show should have been written by an actual JRPG story writer instead of a tokusatsu writer. I feel like that would have been amazing.
Yeah, like get someone from like the Final Fantasy team or something like that.
Yeah, someone from Square Enix.
Or at least
Nomura.
have one of them like on the
God.
team.
Imagine Tetsuya Nomura fucking.
We don't need a Kingdom Hearts level complicated story.
No, but hey, think about it. Kingdom Hearts. You got your main three protagonists who have like cool ass keyblades, and you have all these other side characters who all have unique and special.
All
abilities.
this people.
Exactly. Imagine if Saber was written by Tetsuya Nomura. That would have been solid.
I may have opened up a Pandora's box.
Wonder World, the Disney Worlds, like Saber's Kingdom Hearts.
It's
Rider,
a Wonder
kinda.
World after all.
Come on, they could have jumped in from like story to story. Like that would have been so fascinating.
Yeah. So
like,
yeah,
they could have gone to each book of like based around like their power set, and like that's where they got their power up for.
that would have been amazing if they actually went into the worlds inside the ride
Yeah,
books.
you had to complete
That's an amazing idea.
The whole story of Daisenki to get the final power up or something.
No, but like, what if what if they get the ride books and they were like inactive? In order to get the power up to work, they had to go into the book and solve the story.
That would have been really cool, and also, isn't that Kingdom Hearts?
That's
Slash gets his sword fixed, but like, oh, my book's inactive. Oh, we'll fucking go into Hansel
we have to go in and like
Hansel nuts those to Gretel.
Solve the story of Hansel nuts and Gretel.
And those nuts to Gretel. Oh god, that's awful.
And like, they could have come up with so much filler type plot, but it would have still made sense, and it would have actually been consequential to the plot, because that's how we get more power ups.
Exactly.
Would have had more to do with stories.
Right?
There you go.
The show's about stories. Tell some.
We needed Saber to be written by Nomura. That's it. That's how.
Oh my god! I want that so bad.
There you go. Well, some alternate universe out there. It's happened. Saber was a really well written show.
God damn it.
Well, how about designs?
All right, well, let's talk about suit designs.
So I will say, very good suits. I still am not a fan of the whole horn based off like their blade of their sword. I don't like the horns, but the overall designs are really good. My two personal favorites were still Psycho and Caliber. I wanted to like Buster so fucking badly because I like bulky riders. He had one giant ass sword, but that fucking blade in the middle of his face ruined the entire suit for me. Ruined it.
I wonder if someone could shop it without the horn.
I would look so much better.
Well, how funny if, like, on the figure art, you could remove it.
I would do that. Because I like the Buster suit, but I don't like the fucking horn. It's so bad. But yeah, no, Caliber suit was fucking cool, and then they came out with Jow Dragon, and that was just mwah. That was a beautiful suit. You had this nice open dragon's mouth with like the red mouth was the visor, and you had a cape, and like I'm a sucker for capes. Like I've always loved capes. And like I know you weren't a big fan of Blaze's final suit, unfortunately. Like until it spread wings. Yeah, you got used to it.
I'll talk about that. I'll get into that when it's my turn.
Slash's design I wanted to like, but then overall throughout the series I was just like, it was okay. I loved Espada's suit. Like I liked the swirly visor. I loved especially when he got his 3-book form, like volume 3 form. Oh, so just so much gold. I loved it. Durandal and especially, I would probably say my least favorite design of all the Saber Riders is Sabla. I thought it was a mess.
Oh, what's wrong with Sabla?
It was too much going for it. And again, it was supposed to be like based off a bug, but like, maybe that's also because I just don't like bugs.
It's not just bugs. They kind of went for like a warrior princess kind of thing with it. And despite the weird placement and angle of the sword horn, that was my only real problem with it. Other than that, I think it's fine.
Durandal was cool. I like the fact that his weapon was a trident, so that was something different. Really, 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 really sad that we didn't get a rider who just only used a gun. Like we got that with Slash, but I wanted a rider specifically who only used a gun, and that was why he was so good at the start of his debut.
That should have been a movie villain.
Because he had ranged on all these sword fighters.
It should have been a movie villain.
Yeah, it would have been so fucking dope.
Maybe Amazing Siren.
No. It's gotta be like a Western book, like a Wild West novel.
Yeah.
Like some Once Upon a Time in Hollywood kind of shit.
It's like a Billy the Kid ride book.
Yeah, Kenzan's design was it wasn't a rider suit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It looked like some kind of like spin-off like from another like country toku.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, exactly. And Saber's was interesting, like I will say, like Dragonic Knight was his best design, I have to say, and that should have been his final form, honestly. It was fucking gorgeous.
I'm pissed we didn't get a Blade's Knight form, you know what I mean?
Cross Saber was fucking lazy. I really liked Lion Daisenki, or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just a beautiful blue
King
suit.
Lion.
They got the cannons and stuff. Primitive Dragon was cool. That was the thing I forgot to mention in the past, last couple episodes. I like that he went Primitive Dragon one more time.
Yes.
That was pretty sick because he knew the Berserk form would be something he could use to kind of make stories fuck off a bit. Emotional or not? No, what was the other one? What's Elemental Dragon?
Elemental.
Yeah, Elemental was cool. I just didn't like the mix of red and blues. I thought it was a bit weird. And then Cross Saber was just fucking lazy. Yeah. I hate it. And the Wonder Ride book or whatever that
Wonder Almighty
was even more lazy. That pisses me off. It's another realizing Hopper.
Yeah. What he's saying, King Lion was the knight form. It wasn't a knight. It was just like a robot lion.
Yeah, it was basically what if you had a robotic suit. So that's why I really liked it so much. But also Ex-Swordman. Oh, it's just so pretty, so colorful. I loved it. But I liked the shadow form the most. Chapter 2?
Chapter 2, yeah.
Yeah, Chapter 2. I really like Chapter 2 a lot. Yeah. So, and Calibur's design was just fantastic. That's why I bought the sword.
The belt? The belt was really cool.
I hate the sword driver. I was never interested when I first saw it at all. No, it's fine. That's my opinion.
I like how you can combine different books on it. I like how they open.
I like
how the sword comes out of it.
I will say I really love the RECA standby chime. When you put the book in, it just goes dun 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 dun. I love that standby chime. It's really great. And I like when it went Rave Dragon. That's why I like when you have a main rider base form. The jingle for the base form of the title rider needs to always be addictive. It needs to be stuck in your head. But yeah, I wasn't a fan of the sword driver because I'm not big on weapons. I like guns more than anything. That's why I like the shot riser so much because it's a fucking gun with a belt. It's fantastic, and I rebought one because I missed that belt.
Okay.
Yeah. That's me. So the suits were great. Just the only problem I really had was the horns. I didn't like the horns.
All right, Emily, your thoughts on suit designs?
Suit designs, they look like knights. I like them. I really like the way that they incorporate the various legendary creatures into their armor. I've liked that since the beginning. I like the dragon on Saber's shoulder, and then we have the lion on Blades. There's a nice variety of designs, but they also all look like they belong together, which is always good because I've seen in both Rider and Precure the instances where they have one of them sticking out like a sore thumb. Aside from that, you guys kind of said everything already.
I mean, even if it's a repeat, feel free to make a comment about any.
What was your favorite overall suit?
Any suits you felt particularly strong one way or the other about?
I'm biased because I like Espada because lightning theme.
That's fine.
Yeah. The later Cross Dragon was really freaking cool. Blade's final form was amazing. I forget what it's called.
It's even I forgot it, even though I've got the book right here. It's Hyoju Senki.
Yeah.
It's the full title is Tatagami Hyoju Senki, but I just call it Hyoju Senki.
The ice lion.
Yeah.
And this isn't a suit design thing, but the animation for his attack was amazing too.
Yeah.
He just grabs someone and freezes them. That was cool. Probably the weirdest looking one was Kamen Rider Storius, but that makes sense because he's not really a normal rider.
Final villain, what are you gonna do?
They just gave him big horns, big old horns.
Alright, any other?
No.
Well, you man.
So, my general feeling about the suit design in the show can be summarized by the following noise. Oh, yeah!
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, the suit design in this series was so good to me.
Oh, yeah, you were in love with these suits.
Oh my god, Blades! I love him!
Yep.
At least at the start. Volume 1, 2, and 3.
See his figure right there?
I have the figure right here.
Front row and center of your fucking desk.
I have the gimmick figure over here. I've got the fucking Sword Driver and Nagare right next to me. I've got all 3 of his books and many more. The Sword Driver is my new favorite belt or just driver of all time. I love it's such an elegant, amazing design. Having a sword sheath that you plug books into, and the books open when you activate the belt by drawing the sword. It's perfect design.
I do love it being a sheath and that you can actually. I don't like it when weapons are transformation devices, but they had hit a perfect medium there with it being the sheath for the sword.
No, I'm pretty biased towards like my favorite rider henshin devices being like guns. I just think it's great. Though my favorite belts,
like I really don't like it when a weapon and transformation device are the same thing.
But my favorite belt is still to this day the Drive Driver, just because I love everything about that thing. And I love.
I mean, it's alive.
That's
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so Blades Volume 1, 2, and 3, specifically Volume 1 and 2, Lion Senki and Lion Fantasista, the pinnacle of design appeal. That was totally my aesthetic. Fantastic Lion is where we start to fall apart. I don't think Tenku Pegasus contributed much of anything to the design at all. And honestly, I love Espada's shoulder capes and Saber's long flowing trench coat design way more than the little waistcoat that Blades' forms comprised. So I felt kind of disappointed there. Then we get to King Lion Daisenki. I tried really, really hard to like it because it's like Metal Garurumon, but for Blades. But I just couldn't get to it. They changed the shade of blue to one that I just couldn't jive with.
Oh, I loved it.
Just the aesthetic of the suit just sort of missed the mark for me. The visor was kind of cool.
I love that. That was my favorite Blade suit, just because for me, for blue, the darker the blue, the better. I think that's my personal opinion.
I don't know. It feels like it dipped too far into like the teal zone.
Yeah, it was basically just if Blades was thrown into like a futuristic, like a sci-fi novel.
If Blades got roboticized.
Yeah, he got thrown into a sci-fi novel.
Yeah.
That's how I saw that. And
the cannons were cool, but I feel they were woefully underutilized.
Absolutely.
Having him transform into a lion, really unnecessary.
Yeah, but it's still
and also underutilized.
Yeah, you can have him do that. So
I really would have loved to see more of Blades riding the lion. There were a few moments where that was in use.
We did that in the final episode, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like much more of that because we see how awkward he is around people, so it makes sense that he would have been more comfortable around his pet lion.
Yeah.
And
just riding in on the lion the first episode and just
exactly.
That was amazing.
Oh, I still have that fucking picture saved on my phone of just that smug ass look he has. It's fantastic.
And then Kyoju Senki, I wanted really hard to love it, and I was pissed about the hair. And then we see the hair come off. And that is the pinnacle of what I think Blade's final form design should be. That is the ice paladin that I wanted.
Got motherfucking wings out of that hair.
And wings. Ice wings.
Ice wings.
That was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Please put out a figure art with removable hair.
I really like that form.
There's a smug bastard.
There's my boy.
Smug bastard.
There's the goodest boy. Okay, other suit design. Saber, really good, really solid for a primary rider. Caliber, I feel like he served his purpose well as a dark version of Saber. And the Zhao dragon form, fucking Dragon Emperor, yes please.
See, you know what? That's what you said about Caliber was like on the nose. It was a great dark version of Saber. That's what they should have done with Genmu for X-Aid. They should have made him look like X-Aid, but like.
I mean, it was.
But you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't exactly like a copy of Saber. It was just a palette swap.
Are you talking about Genmu or Caliber?
Genmu. I'm talking about the Genmu was a
Literally the only thing that was different aside from the color was the eyes, but that was on purpose.
No, but I'm saying what they did with Caliber was what they should have done with Genmu, in terms of like being like a dark version of X-Aid.
Oh, you mean you want Genmu to be more different?
More different.
I thought you were saying that he should have been less different.
Yeah, no, he should have been more different. Because that would have worked.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But yes, Caliber was very effective design. Not my favorite. I wouldn't buy a figure of him, but I appreciate what they were going for.
Oh, I love just Jiao Dragon. So cool.
It just screamed Dragon Emperor. Like something out of Seiken Densetsu 3.
And I love it too because Jiao Dragon technically should never have existed in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't one of the Sacred Wonder Ride books. Caliber got that made.
Yeah.
He made himself a power-up, and when he didn't need to. Shouldn't have had that.
And one thing, sort of going back to story about missed opportunities, Caliber getting passed around, didn't like that.
I just didn't.
Kento was fine, but then, like, Sophia as the final Caliber user?
Sophia is Caliber too, yeah.
Like,
that
why
pissed
even
me
bother?
off.
Why even bother?
I would have liked to see Tomo wield Kuriyami at one point. Like, he gets, like, kind of like a little dark place, and then he thinks, like, oh, maybe Kuriyami will help. And becomes Caliber.
I need to see these dark visions for myself.
It's like with Kit in Dragon Knight.
Yeah, no, exactly. That would have been a really interesting arc to do, actually.
It would have been awesome. Saber running Saber better!
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say that, but...
Psycho. Really fucking bizarre. Didn't like it. Didn't like any of it.
That just...
Like,
we found...
Out of all the suits, that was the one I was vehemently against.
We found out that there was just going to be a Kamen Rider that was a sword. I forgave the show for not giving me a gun-only rider, and I was like, this is a Kamen Rider that's just a sword. That's fantastic. That's so funny. I want it. And now I have the Psycho driver. I have Kamen Rider Psycho in my bedroom. And I can just look at him whenever the fuck. I have a Kamen Rider in my bedroom.
I have a man in my bedroom right now.
And I got in your bedroom now.
And I got the Ex-Swordman book because I really just liked that he just read a comic book and decided I want this to be a power-up for me. And it's weird colors. It's big. It's super pretty. And yeah, and then I bought Kuriyami, like the Caliber stuff, just because I liked the concept of the Sword of Light and the Sword of Darkness.
Yeah.
And then when
it was cool how there was actual lore behind those two.
Yeah, and when Psycho dual wielded both those fuckers, I was like, yeah. And when Saber in the finale fucking wielded both Kuriyami and Psycho, I was like, hell yeah.
It was like Riku.
Yeah, exactly. So I just
More Kingdom Hearts parallels.
Yeah. So as much as like I say Kuriyami, don't fucking use it because it's bad. It makes you see the future, and it's
clearly
awful.
Yuri can resist.
Like apocalyptic futures, yeah.
So with Ichi getting a 1-to-1 scale of Nagare, if they make a 1-to-1 scale of Kuriyami, I will buy it.
Yeah.
I will fucking mount that on my wall.
Alright, so back to suit design.
Yeah.
Let's fire through some of these side ones. Buster, very cool. Very effective. A heavy, muscular rider, very well done.
Yep.
Not my favorite. I wouldn't buy a figure, but I get what they're going for. Kenzan, I kind of get what they were going for. I don't think that one was done as effectively as the others.
As a ninja-themed rider, they could have been designed way better.
It was so weird how, like, the green on his pants went, like, from halfway up his legs to halfway up his thighs.
It looked like he was wearing, like, a tracksuit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like,
ninja tracksuit guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Sport check ninja.
I appreciate that they did some different things with the other Seiken. Buster is the big sword. Kenzan is the twin sword. Suzune, or like Slash and Kenzan is the gun sword.
Psycho should have been the dual wielder as well, because this sword's called fucking Kinobuki.
You know what? I agree.
Gold and silver. He should have been the gold and silver.
The golden weapon and the silver weapon.
Yeah, like he has a gold sword and a silver axe or something.
That would have been awesome.
Here you go. Fuck, man.
And then have Kenzan's gimmick that it's just one sword, but it turns into the shuriken.
Yeah,
that would have been good. I like that.
Or like he can split the sword to two, but he uses the other one as like a projectile. He like throws it.
I don't know,
like a kunai or something.
Slash. They went ham on making that suit as bizarre as possible. I applaud that effort. I don't like the suit very
It's
much.
loud.
I think it's hilarious.
That's the best word to describe Slash's design is it's loud.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he was
Which
also
makes sense
loud.
because he's the sound rider.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I like this visor because it looked like a freaking
Speaker.
like a
speaker effect.
like a sound effect.
Yeah, like a blasting sound wave.
Yeah, no, that was great.
Yeah. Sabala. Really compact, effective, princessy sort of design. I do think the sword horn was really misplaced there. I think they could have repositioned that and done a better job of it.
I did like her sword. I like those because I like rapiers. Also, I like giant swords usually, but I'm also
actually a rapier. But I get why you say that.
Like fencing swords and rapiers. Like very.
The name of the sword she was using is literally a sabala. It's actually a kind of sword.
Okay. Well, I mean, my favorite sword of all time is a scimitar, and I wish there was a rider who used a scimitar. That would have been awesome.
Yeah. Durandal, so fucking good.
Again, but like that he had a trident. That was cool. It was different.
Black featuring blue accents. He used a trident. He had a water-themed book.
He's the motherfucking Empoleon of riders.
That's literally it.
He does seem like Empoleon.
Durandal was so good. It's such a shame that Ryoga was not a character.
I mean, we saw him in drag, so that was interesting.
Oh boy.
I mean, that was like probably the most entertaining part about him.
I am hungering to get the DX Jikoku Kaiji. Videos of it are all over the internet, and I can't get mine until next month.
Aww. Okay, good soon, buddy.
Who else?
Solomon and Storius. Lazy designs.
They seem kind of tropey and generic. Not very much
They
creative.
took Storius' monster form and slapped a fucking book helmet on, and book faceplate on him.
And Solomon was just Joe Dragon, but silver.
Where the fuck was Kamen Rider Tassel? Goddammit!
Oh, that would have been interesting.
Come on! Wasted potential.
Yeah. Espada, really good. Really good. I didn't talk about Espada. Really, especially Volume 3. Especially Volume 3.
Just having that nice gold in the middle. And
so, some people might think all that gold is fucking gaudy, and I get it, but that's how you do a gold rider.
No, yeah. I like really shiny metallic colors, and I say too much gold.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see what Alangina Knight looks, or Arabiana Knight looks like.
Like you said, I hope he has a little bit of blue in there. It'd be nice.
The book has some blue on it.
I mean, nice blue tint. Very cool.
All right. Is there any suit design I missed?
Saber?
Yeah, okay, so yeah.
Brave Dragon.
Brave Dragon, really effective. It perfectly conveys how the 3-book system works.
Racist dragon.
Yeah, racist dragon.
The Volume 3 form, really good. I really liked all the Volume 3 forms, except Blades was kind of a disappointment. Primitive Dragon, savage. Loved it. Really effective.
The best standby chime ever in the whole show. Just the dun 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 dun. So good.
Elemental Dragon, kind of off-putting with its clashing colors, but I get it. It was the 2 power-ups meeting in the middle thing. Cross Saber, lazy, hated it.
Except for the 3 form.
Yes, featuring Saber with Dragon Lion Alangina. That is the final form. That should be the final form.
Well, what about Draconic Knight?
Oh, Dragon Ignite.
Yeah,
really cool.
So
pretty solid.
So pretty. It should have been final form.
I wouldn't buy a figure of it, but I liked it a lot. I wanted Blades to have a form similar to that, but instead we got King Lion. Yeah. And then Wonder Almighty's just Brave Dragon. You lazy fucks.
Again, Toei, stop that! Enough! We don't care. We don't want that.
Yeah. Falchion.
Oh, yeah. I like Falchion.
Very effective as a dark, brooding rider
liked
form.
The nice orange, liked the matte black on the suit.
They went ham on the fire effects with it, because it's a phoenix.
So good.
Yes. I think it's about it for suit design.
Alright, it's characters.
Alright, so let's talk about Toma.
What a lovely lad. So pure-hearted. It's exactly what like a good protagonist like in a show like this should have been Always. He always had his heart in the right place. Never veered away, honestly, because like Primitive Dragon was kind of just he didn't know what was going to happen.
He wasn't in control.
He wasn't in control of that, and just he wanted to help everyone. He was like kind of like edgy almost, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like edgy wanted like his biggest desire was he wanted to help everyone in the entire world, and he knew he could never do that.
Yeah.
And just Toma, he was big on promises and just
and man, did they expound on that.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a gimmick in his character. They full on explained why he was that way.
And just he was emotional when always at the right time.
Exactly.
Whenever there was a sad moment, he was sad. Whenever he was angry. Whenever he wanted to have a nice happy moment, he was happy. And we loved seeing him.
I thought you were going to say whenever he wanted a happy meal, he got one.
And like you know, like as annoying as May was, he like always just was like, "Oh May, well, but yeah, just Toma was just such a good boy. I loved watching him grow. Like it just he never strayed from his path, and in the end he was always dedicated. Like Storius was telling him like, "Give the fuck up. The world's ending no matter what the fuck you do," and just. Toma would not take no for an answer. He didn't care.
Nay, I say.
The willpower and determination in this man was just so... I have nothing but high respect for. Like, my God. The motherfucker could have been like a Green Lantern like 100 times over with how much willpower he had. And he was always so brave. Like, that's why I love that his main book was called Brave Dragon, because Toma was so brave.
Yeah.
That's the best fucking word to describe him. And just, he was just so kind. And the fact that he ran a bookstore was just adorable. And he got into his characters that he role-played when he read stories to children.
That was so sweet.
So sweet. And so that's why, like, again, like, I'm just sad that, like, his sacrifice, like, I wish it would have been more meaningful, and he didn't come back right away.
I mean, you keep saying that, but you forget that a whole fucking year passed.
Yeah, but like nowadays the year just fucking goes by like that. And again, they transition to a year later instantly, and that's.
I agree that it's hard to really feel that. I agree what you said earlier. They should have had him come back. Like
and the crossover film should have been a year after the show.
Exactly. The year time skip should have been between the series and the movie.
Exactly. It ends with Kento and May hanging out by the tree, and Kento's just sitting there looking up, being like, "Wherever you are, Toma, I hope you're okay and you're doing something you love."
All right.
That would have been a nice ending.
Emily, thoughts on Toma?
Thoughts on Toma? Really, really like him. I think that everything he stands for and everything... He's just a wonderful person. And one of my favorite main writers, actually, to be honest. He's definitely... I'm sorry, I sound like I'm just saying I like him in like 5 different ways, but...
Hey, say what you gotta say.
Just his importance of keeping promises, his good heart, and his optimism, his... just that he believes in the power of what stories can do, and the fact that he himself is a storyteller and someone who wants to protect stories is very meaningful to me.
That was also another thing I really liked about Toma was his passion. He was very passionate.
He was very passionate.
Like he's not one of my favorite writer protagonists, but I would never ever call him a bad one. He was very good.
That's fair.
He was very good. He ain't no Shinosuke though.
I mean, who is? Is that about it for you, for Toma?
Yep.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that we had such a wholesome main character in this show.
That's a good way of putting him, too.
He was not a hothead. He was not an idiot. Because I really am sick of those kind of main characters in Tokusatsu.
And Nikki kind of looks like he's going to be a hothead idiot.
He looks like both.
He's everything Toma isn't.
It was so nice seeing Toma just give his all to not only protect stories, to protect the innocent, but to protect the people he cared about. And during the intro to Psycho arc where he was getting betrayed by everyone, it really fucking hurt. And that was one of the main reasons why I really hated that part of the show. Because Toma was getting a fucking raw deal, and he didn't deserve any of it.
No.
And if they all just had a fucking conversation like human adults, this shit could have been resolved in way less time.
Yep.
But Toma powered through it all like a fucking champion, and he made his will manifest. He protected everyone. He saved the world from literally certain destruction, even though they didn't show it happening. But he was such a powerful and admirable protagonist. And this may be a stupid point to bring up after all this meaningful talk. I just enjoyed the fact that he dressed like a fucking Amish dude the whole series.
His fashion sense was weird, man.
I love the hats.
That's why I liked
the weird Amish
the pants.
So many
fucking capris or whatever the fuck. Like he's dressed from the 70s or something.
I thought it was hilarious, and he had so many fun hats.
That's why I liked Shinosuke, because like he just wore a suit all the time, and then Gentaro from fucking Force, he just didn't wear the school uniform everyone else. He wore like the punk outfit with the pompadour, and he had the flaming Converses, and he rocked that fucking design. It was super good.
I enjoyed that Toma dressed like he was Amish.
I kind of wish he got his own sort of logo. He's dressed like an Amish person.
Am I wrong?
Well, they have like weird shaped hats.
Toma had hats. Weird hats. So many hats.
Just the pants. He's henching in a fucking pair of capris with like fucking giant ass pant legs at the bottom. And I'm like, oh god.
I love that someone shopped that to make those pants even more flared out.
Don't get me started with Kento and that fucking turtleneck.
We'll get to him.
God.
All right, so let's talk about Rintaro.
What a good loyal lad.
He was a wonderful guy.
Again, that
Wholesome.
Fucking first picture with that smug face. I was just like, this is gonna be a fun guy. But like, the only thing about him that I wish we dove more into his character. Like,
yeah.
I wish, like, during the betrayal arc, like, you could see that like it was hurting him hard. But I wish they would have focused on that more, especially him being the secondary. Because like that was the thing about Rintaro. They didn't treat him like a secondary rider. That's the problem. He's so little of a secondary rider in this show, unlike any other secondary rider that I've seen. Brave, secondary rider for sure. Mach, yes, you could fucking tell. Baron is like the fucking definition of secondary rider. Like,
yes.
Holy shit!
Mm-hmm.
But just Rintaro I didn't get that from him. That's why I keep saying Kento should have been the secondary rider, because like he had a closer connection with Toma. So, but just like as a skilled warrior, like I like that we got to see him like hone his craft more. But I feel like his final power up or whatever like that was just kind of handed to him on a silver platter. I feel like
he did almost die to get it.
He did almost die to get it, but he should have. I feel like he should have. There should have been more to earn it. You know,
I guess.
But like in terms of personality and stuff, and how he was adorable and super skilled, super loyal, and I loved his. You know, he didn't sway from his beliefs and what he was taught and knew, and I really respected that. He never swayed from like his path. So I that's why I like Bonito, but he wasn't a secondary writer because they didn't write him like that. So,
Emily, thoughts?
Thoughts on Rintaro?
Mm-hmm.
How can you not love him? He shows up from the very beginning, and he just has the idea. He has the feeling of like a polite, loyal, kind guy who also doesn't entirely know anything outside of those things. And I really think that him and Toma work well together, not because they contrast each other, but because they complement each other.
That's a good way of putting it.
Like, both of them have passion and loyalty towards different things, and that means that they understand each other even when they're from completely different sort of backgrounds, and I think that that's really cool. It's weird that like when we were talking before about how Kento was the childhood friend and it felt like he should have been the secondary rider, and that was a little bit strange, but I really like Blades. I really like the relationship that he has with Toma, and I think it honestly could have been explored even more than it was.
Yeah. That's what it?
AG.
Yeah.
I think my favorite Rintaro is early Rintaro. Because, wow, was it such a trip to just explore his character. The first time you ever see him, he comes in riding a fucking lion with a smug smile on his face, being an already established rider, talking all this mysterious gobbledygook about ride books and Megiddo
Homo sapiens.
and Homo sapiens.
Yeah,
and
like, remember when we thought he wasn't human?
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
he was so mysterious at first, and I was like, oh man, is this going to be some sort of, like, trickster character who's, like, you don't really know what he's about? And it seemed like he wasn't human. And then, no, we just find out he's just an orphan, like, he's just this dorky orphan boy raised by the guild, and he has heard of things, but he doesn't really know what anything is.
That's a great way of putting it.
And, like, it was so adorable just watching him be awkward all the time. And I feel like a lot of people could honestly connect with that, because it's like I'm not a very well-explored person. Like, I'm not well experienced with a lot of things, and it felt like this, like, sort of connected to me a lot, because, like, every time Rintaro would see a thing, he'd be like, oh, I've read about this, but I've never seen it or tried it before.
Also, they didn't give him enough love for the eclairs. They should have done that more. That's fine.
I feel like three times for that bit was fine. Yeah. But, like,
comedy does come in threes.
The really, really best, I think my favorite part of early Rintaro was how he interacted with Toma, especially while they were fighting together. Because, like, the one thing Rintaro knows how to do well is fight as a Kamen Rider. So it was really interesting to see him, like, teach Toma how to be a rider.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
And then Toma would be like, well, what if I do this? And then he did some creative hisatsu with one of the ride books. And he's like, you're not supposed to do that? Oh, but it worked. That's neat.
Whoa.
I felt like there should have been way more of those kind of interactions. I was looking forward to Toma being, like, the master of gimmick powers for using his knowledge of stories, and Rintaro being the traditional sword fighting master.
And that's why I feel like Rintaro and Toma should have been together a lot more in the show, because they could have learned from each other. And, like, you know, like, Toma's learning how to be a better rider, like a member of the Sword of Logos, and then Rintaro is learning how to be a human being.
He's learning how to be a better person.
Exactly.
Or not a better person, but a more experienced person.
A human being.
Yeah.
Like, in our world. And it's just, that would have been such a good dynamic. And, like, there wasn't enough exploring.
But on the other hand, I would have also really liked to see a version of this show where it turned out that Rintaro actually was not human and he was from Wonderworld, because that was really where it seemed like they were going with it.
He is Lion Senki!
Yeah, like, what if he was just a spirit from the book?
Ooh.
Yeah, like, all the Homo sapiens stuff was so weird because it really seemed to allude to him not being human, but I guess it was just that he was sort of out of the loop.
Like, how the fuck did Sophia raise him?
No, okay, you know what? He didn't know he was human, and he read up on humans, and you know, the proper term for humans...
Are you dissing in my book?
Yeah, the scientific term for a human being is Homo sapien.
Yeah.
So he's only known books his whole life.
So at no point while he was growing up did Sophia turn to him and go, they're called humans.
They're humans.
He could have been a giant Megiddo.
They're humans.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think Sophia knew much about it either.
I mean, she wasn't human.
She didn't know how to cook eggs.
She wasn't human.
Or she didn't know how to cook a rice ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, Sophia wasn't human either, so I guess not exactly the best role model for humanity. I feel so bad. Like, I feel like we didn't go enough into the fact that he was orphaned. They just kind of said it in passing in an episode.
Maybe like they should have made like the former Blades was like a father to him or something like he was his adopted father.
Yeah, we got more about his master than his actual family.
Yeah,
like tell us more about that.
Yep.
But other than that, he was such a fucking cinnamon roll the whole show. Just the most adorable.
Cinnamon roll, I like that description.
Yeah. Oh, the goodest boy, as I kept calling him.
Well, Kento.
As is the case with many other tertiary writers, Kento was the most dynamic, changing character through the whole show.
I just like how broody he was in the beginning.
He saw hundreds of futures of bad endings. That'll fuck anyone up.
No. That's fine. I liked the caliber aspect of them. I mean early Kento, when he was just always like, that's my dad! Fuck you, Dad!
That's because he felt guilty that it was his father that caused everyone to have a bad time.
And then it wasn't his father! It was the former fucking
He didn't know that until he found out!
But that's the thing, like, he was just, like, he was too reckless. And, I always knew he was better than that, right?
And then he changed!
And no, but that was the thing, like, he missed Toma for so long. He was so happy to be reunited with his friend. And then he just kept shit from him constantly.
Because he was like, oh, I don't want to burden him with this.
No, but, like, he's your best friend from childhood.
But he's also learning to be a fucking Kamen Rider right now. He doesn't need all that on his plate.
That was Saber's biggest fucking flaw. No one sat down and had a conversation. Talked it out.
I agree entirely. Especially through the fucking betrayal arc. Just talk!
Who's this cold-hearted bitch who's been telling you that I'm betraying you?
We'll talk about Reika in a bit. I'm gonna get into that bitch.
So, I feel like Kento, I really kind of wish that, like, as much as great as Toma is a protagonist, I wish Kento was the protagonist.
I'd like to see that version.
Because I would have loved to have seen this rider who's just, like, trained as a swordsman all of his life, and, like, at a young age, and then, like, his father was a rider, and then he betrayed. And, like, he's trying to find out why my father betrayed everyone.
And like, I feel like Hayato isn't worth talking about in his own section. Let me just say, Hayato was a fucking gullible moron.
That is sadly
and
true.
it's kind of his fault that everything went wrong.
It was also because, he's wielding the Sword of Darkness, which I'm
Yeah, that didn't help either.
Don't use a sword that makes you see the future! It's bad!
Yeah,
and that also files into, why didn't anyone talk about this?
Me saying that as I want a 1-to-1 scale version of it on my wall.
Why didn't Hayato ever tell anyone else that he was having these visions? You fucking moron! Talk to your friends!
Yeah, no, exactly. The problem with this show was no one talked to each other. Everyone kept... you're talking about, loyalty, friendship, family? Well, you know what? Friends and family talk about shit all the time. Anyways, but yeah, so, like, Kento, I like that, I liked when he, like, died, and, like, that was the first one I was like, oh, this show's getting interesting now, because, like, one of Toma's, like, good friends passed away.
I still think it's hilarious that I called it. He's not dead, he's just inside the sword.
Yeah, I feel like being sealed in the sword is, like, close to death as you can be.
The way that they, like, showed, like, the pan down to it, and...
yeah.
Everything kind of implied it, didn't it?
Yeah, when he was Caliber, that was cool. I kind of just liked that, like, the sword kind of corrupted him, and he just felt like, because he wasn't a villain at that point. He was an anti-hero.
Yes.
He was like, I feel like I need to protect Toma, and the world's going to just be destroyed. I'm the one who needs to prevent this.
Yeah, and Orb is talking about Kamijo. Like, yes, he had a reasonable excuse to just act like a villain and not tell everyone because he knew there was a traitor in this organization.
And then Toma literally says, well, you could just talk to your allies. They could have helped you. Oh, maybe you're right.
Whoops. Stabbered.
That's all even Toma knew. Maybe we should just talk to each
have
other.
a fucking conversation.
Just tell your friends. They can help you.
I mean, it started as, there's a traitor in the organization. I don't know who it was, so I guess I'll just trust nobody.
No, because of what the previous Caliber did. Fucking Kenzon blades in a spot or whatever, they all fucking died.
Yep.
Like, oh my god. But yeah, no, Kento was a good character, and when we saw him happy again and stuff and laughing,
that
and
was
everything
so
like that,
nice.
I was so happy to get, and then, like, again, the final episode, we just see him and Kento and Toma hang out. That was the best. And I wish we had all that, the entire show, the roleplay sessions they had with their adventure.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
That's fucking friendship right there. That's like shit you and I would do if we, like, went to cons all the time. And, like, cosplayed. Like, we wanted to cosplay as the Mario Brothers one year, and, like, I think that would have been so fun to do.
Yeah. I still think that'd be a fun idea.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah. Yeah, so, like, I liked Kento. And I liked Espada, and I just feel like he was very underused, and he could have been such a more great character if they just really focused on it.
And maybe they will in the Espada movie.
He should have been the protagonist.
We still have the Espada movie.
I know. I'm looking forward to that.
Emily, thoughts on Kento?
Thoughts on Kento? Favorite power set, but I'm really biased because I really like anything lightning themed.
That's fair. I'm the water boy.
Yep, and I remember being genuinely upset when they switched it so that he was Caliber. And then we didn't get any lightning theme until like way at the end.
I'm still pissed that when he mentioned it at Espada for the first time, they didn't make a bigger deal about it.
Yeah.
That's fair. And in terms of his actual character and things he did, I think you guys covered everything already.
I mean, you can, even if it's a repeat, you can talk about the parts you like the most.
Yeah, in terms of how it does make sense that he was that set in the fact that there would be a bad ending because he had seen it a million times.
Yeah.
It's just like Homura, like...
Yeah, I was going to say, they pulled a Madoka, and it was just as impactful, I think.
Honestly, they're, like, yeah, they didn't sugarcoat it or... And something about them only showing little bits of it was actually kind of more messed up.
Yeah.
Because you have to... Because when you just see little flashes of it, it sort of hammers it into your head that he's seen not just these little flashes, which are already pretty bad, but he's seen this whole thing over and over and over
again.
The entire
bad ending, endless amount of times.
And being constantly told, oh no, we can do something better than this, after seeing it so many times, even if it wasn't real and it was just a vision, like that can really mess you up.
And it's also the fact that every time was a different ending. Sometimes we won, sometimes they won, sometimes it was a draw, sometimes we all died.
Yeah, but it always ends up bad.
Yep.
So that he had to go through that was pretty terrible. I'm just glad that in the end, despite everything they went through, he ended up just being able to spend time with Toma and work at the store and celebrate stories.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
I appreciated Kento for being, like I said, the most dynamic and changing character in the show. He went from being just, hey, it's my childhood friend, to, oh, so he's got some baggage. And then we find out what the baggage is, and you feel sorry for him. And then he fucking gets Shadow Realmed, and then comes back as this brooding character, and it's just like, oh no, why are you doing this? And then we find out why he's doing this, and it's just, oh no! And you just feel so fucking sorry for him. And it's just painful to see him go down this dark path and try and murder all his friends. Not murder, but like seal all their Seiken. It's just like, I am the only writer that needs to exist. I'll stop all the bad things myself. But then he gets fixed and he goes back to normal and he starts being happy again. And it's so nice to see him let go of all that baggage and just be a human again. It was just so nice and wholesome, and we see him do the role plays, and those were always fun. Like you said before, it was just such a fucking fascinating character arc that he went through.
Yeah, and that's why, like, I feel like that should have his journey should have been what like Toma's should have been, where like he just has like all this stuff about him, and then like he gets his memory back, and then he just remembers like, oh my god, all this shit happened, like, and then he just. Yeah, becomes evil.
Yeah, the thing with Toma is he had a bit of his character arc, but that all got like processed through really early.
Yeah,
with his memory loss and the wanting to protect Luna and all that. That was resolved pretty early.
So everything Kento went through, that's what a secondary writer in the show should have went through. That's why I'm like, Kento should have been the secondary writer, and Rintaro wasn't really much of a secondary writer.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so let's start firing through the other.
Yeah, so we can probably go through Ogami, Daishinji, and Ren pretty fast. So Ogami, so fun, lovable, family man, dad writer. Like, what can you say about him? He's so fun. He was great. He was very dedicated. He kept everyone in check, which was nice. Daishinji, he was adorable. Loved his shyness and his loudness. Kind of wish we got to see, like you said before, we could see him like all crazy outside the suit.
I think we did see it like once briefly.
Yeah, but I liked the shyness, and I liked his dedication to the sword and stuff. And when he was like lying there, like almost dying, he was just like, I can't hear Susan anymore.
It sounded like he said, I can't hear Susan anymore.
Yeah. Ren. Oh.
Yeah, that sums him up.
Oh, Ren!
Can we just get a version of the show where he's just edited out completely? I think that would be a vast improvement.
They tried to fucking push us and, like, shove down our throats, like, care about
Okay, hold on. Before Ren's going to be a bit of a topic, so before we get to him, Emily, thoughts on Ogami and Daishinji?
Yeah.
Thoughts on Ogami and Daishinji? Cool and good.
Alright.
Excellent.
PG?
A dad... Sorry, go ahead.
I like that Ogami was a dad.
A dad Kamen Rider was a very neat idea. It was nice to see one that wasn't evil for once.
Yes.
And they made a point of that. And the man lived far longer than any of us expected him to at the beginning. He totally seemed like if this were a proper JRPG, he would be the mentor character who starts out overpowered and then dies very early, and that inspires the other characters to get stronger.
He'd be like the Angeal of... Yeah.
Or like Marcus from Fire Emblem.
Or Orin. Oh, Orin died. Well, actually. So she's been dead the whole time.
Yeah. Daishinji, hilarious, adorable. I wanted to see more of his rock and roll persona. Much more.
I like this whole shyness.
Which he got
That
over.
wasn't never really explained, was it?
Yeah, they didn't really say why he was such a shy person.
I feel like he was just, you know what, because he spent so much time in his workshop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because he's the swordsmith.
He probably didn't, you know what, I feel like Ogami was the only person he really knew.
Yeah, because they were both veterans.
Yeah, because you always saw those two together.
Yeah.
Because they were the veterans. But yeah, Ren, by halfway through the show, they tried to shove down our fucking throats. Care about this person. Care about him, but I couldn't. I didn't want to.
Did he do anything of consequence after episode 6? Because I can't think of a single fucking thing.
No, because as soon as, like, Reiko was like, oh yeah, Thomas betraying you, he's like, I fucking knew it! His user racing Kanto's dead! Fuck!
Wow.
Yeah, he was like the first to jump on, like, let's kick Thomas' ass. We'll get him.
And that was mostly because he was jealous that this rookie-ass novel man came in out of nowhere and was immediately on their level.
Again, I'm like, I know, Emily, like, you don't like me saying, like, you want, like, Ren to die, but, like, I wanted him to be this, like, really cocky, like, how he was in the beginning of the show, where he was just really strong rider. Like, strong-ass swordsman. He has shown that he's powerful. He's super strong. But I wanted that to, like, go all to his head. And
just bite off more than he could chew?
Yeah, and then just be over... Sorry, go ahead.
His smugness should have caused his doom, is what you're saying.
Yeah, so he just, like, he was very overwhelming and stuff like that, and then he just bites off more than he can chew, and he gets himself killed because of it.
And that could have inspired someone's power-up.
Like, maybe, yeah, and that could have maybe drove Kento even more into darkness, because he felt responsible for Ren.
And yeah, like Jerry's saying, we talked the whole show about how when Ren started hanging out with Disaster, he should have gone down the Megiddo path, and that didn't fucking happen either.
Like, they tried to make this dynamic, and then, like, they give him this awesome, well-made fight and scene and stuff, and I just sitting there not giving a shit. I just kind of just stood there and was like, that would have been a great scene with, like, Kento and Toma.
Like, they have this
It was wasted.
They hang out for literally half the show, do fucking nothing.
They sit around and eat fucking ramen and talk about, oh, we're destined for more.
And then they fight each other, and then one of them dies, and it literally didn't matter which one of them it was.
And like,
and then he went on to be one of the swordsmen in the final battle. That was it.
No, we can.
All he did was help fight one of the sages.
We can throw Disaster into the Ren pod as well, because that's what he was. He was the other Ren. He was evil Ren.
He was supposed to be this mysterious Megiddo that was above all the other ones, and then it's just like, oh, I made you on a whim for lulz.
You're useless.
Nobody likes you.
And like, I saw someone say, like, he should have been Caliber at one point.
That would have been cool.
Been awesome. Because like,
that would have made sense.
Him being Falchion was neat, and that lasted one episode.
5 minutes. So like, it just, Ren and Disaster were these two characters that just we did not need. If the show could have gone on without them, and we would have been perfect.
I almost want like a fucking like Ren and Stimpy parody. It's Ren and Sorty.
Ren and Sorty.
So like, it just like Ren was cool at the first, and then they just
his first fight with Disaster was his peak. That was the only time I gave a shit.
Yeah, calling Toma like a full-on scrub, that was hilarious. And I wanted that for the rest of the show.
It set him up to just get his shit kicked in so hard, and that never materialized.
He loved Kento a bit too much, I think.
And that never really got explained!
No.
Besides the fact that they sparred together.
And
I guess like he viewed him as a mentor of some kind.
Yeah,
I guess, but tell us more about that.
But if you like Kento so much, why don't you be more like him, not be such a fucking prick?
Yeah.
God. But yeah, so just Ren disaster. We never see them, or we never see Ren again. It's fine by me.
Yeah. Stay on your journey.
Yeah, go
buy a new shirt.
Run away and never return.
Run away and never return.
You ever come back? We'll kill ya!
What is that from?
Lion King.
From Lion King.
Okay.
It's after like Scar tells Simba to fuck off after Mufasa's dead.
Yeah.
Also, I found out recently, I'm sorry to go off the topic for just a second. Scar ate Mufasa. Because you see him with a skull, and it's exactly a lion skull.
Oh.
So he ate Mufasa after he killed him.
He just found his skull, like, on the ground.
No! I think he and the hyenas ate him.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Stick with me, and you'll never go hungry again!
All I can think of is like the Google Translate Sings version where he just says ridiculous things like, "Finally, I was a taxi."
So, Sophia.
What is there to say? She disappeared for half the show.
She went away for fucking half the show. Was just trapped in this little fucking closet of a dimension or some shit. Reika occasionally going, "You okay? Yeah, I'm gonna stay there."
She was like she was this show's equivalent of like a home base NPC.
And then
you stand there, you push A, and she says her one line of dialogue, and then you select your quest.
She's like a fucking like doll with a pull cord.
I don't know. She's like the guild person.
Yeah, she's the no. If this were an RPG, she'd be the woman behind the counter that you talk to get your mission from. You say bye and leave.
Get your quests and then you turn them into her after you're done. Get your XP.
Here's your gil.
And like then they made her. Then they gave her Kuriyami, and I was like, no. She has no reason to. It's the only reason she got it was because she was disappearing, and Yuri was like, nah, "Here, take this, you'll be fine.
Here, take this plot device."
And then she's just like, "I want to help."
And then she channeled Hayato and Kamijo and somehow became able to fight.
Mad respect for her wanting to help and fight. Very courageous and brave of her. Not necessary.
Yeah,
they were fine. I would have rather have Yuri as Psycho wield both the Sword of Light and Darkness, and I would have been happy for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
So fucking cool. Get some cool Caliber / Psycho form. Like, come on.
Yuri.
I loved Yuri.
I loved him too.
I'm sorry, he's a Kamen Rider with a sword!
It was
everybody getting like beating the crap out of them, and then he's immediately like, "Oh, I could heal you," and then they just all turn like, "Why didn't you say anything?"
It was
big clothes. He could heal people.
It was both hilarious and annoying at the same time. That for a period he would have a new bullshit power that we'd pull out of his ass every week.
That's fair.
There were several weeks in a row where he would pull a brand new power of light out of his ass just because it served the plot. And I feel like a lot of my initial animosity towards him is because of my hatred of the betrayal arc. So I won't say it's completely fair, but I will say that he did warm up to me a little bit. He was kind of like Rintaro in that he was just this unaware, dorky dude who had just been sitting in an ethereal closet for 1,000 years. And then he has to reacclimate to the world.
Yeah, and he's trying to learn how to
Ooh, what are these comic books?
He's trying to learn
power-up.
He's trying to learn how to use a phone, and he can manifest
I want those clothes!
Yeah, there
should have been more of that, honestly.
Yeah, and then like his healing ability was cool. I feel like they're like he deserves a movie. Like, I hope he gets like I hope there's a Psycho movie, like with like a pairing with like another rider, and I hope it'll be fantastic. But like, I love Yuri.
That would be good.
I never hated him. I never not liked him the whole series.
Yeah,
he was so fun.
I never liked Psycho, the power set.
He believed in Toma from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Even when everyone else was.
I sense that you are the protagonist.
I will help you.
Since all your friends
You
are
know-
being shitbags
You know
right
what
now.
he kind of is? He's Piros the Third.
Oh my god, don't put that in my head!
The shining knight that comes in, and he's just like, you know what? You seem important. I'm gonna stick by you because you're special.
Psychos! Kamen Rider Psycho! Yeah.
Well, go play Dollhouse GU. It's a good game.
Yes. Any other thoughts, Emily, on Yuri?
I mean, he's just great. I think it's neat that he actually is his sword. I like Kamen Rider Psycho. I know you don't like the form, but I love the comic book inspired form. And
My
I
only-
just like
My only
As a
real
person-
problem with the Psycho X-Swordman design is just the gaudy color choice. That's why the version I fixed up I think
it
is
makes
better.
sense with what it's supposed to be, but I also
Comic book,
understand
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Alright.
Since Blaze has been fucking fuming in our chat this whole session, let's talk about May.
Okay. So, May. Mixed bag.
Yeah.
Like, she had her ups and downs, but I will say overall, she served her purpose as a female character, and I think she did a good job. She was the positivity, the moral support. She, when they were at their lowest, she was just there to cheer them up and be that light in the darkness, and that really showed in the finale. Like, my God. But sometimes she was silly at the worst times. And I'm sorry, Blaze. No, I never wanted her to be a writer, and I'm glad she's not a writer.
I'm kind of the same
I
mind.
feel like
No,
she
like,
will
if
be in a movie at some point.
If they had an Akiko sequence with her, in Double, where she dreamed she was Kamen Rider Double, that would have been fucking hilarious. I would have been 100% on board for that. It would have been super funny. She writes her own story about her being the hero.
You know what?
a nice
That's
sequence.
exactly what should happen. There should be a fucking stage show where May is writing her own book,
And for
because
Battle
she's
Video.
been an editor for novels for so long. Why don't I give it a try?
Toma writes such good books. Why don't I try writing
And then
a
she
book?
writes her own novel, and then as she's writing it, we get to see through her delusional imagination what would happen if she was a Kamen Rider.
Exactly. That's how you do it. Nice May exclusive stage show, and then she teams up with Toma and Rintaro and everything in her book, and it's her as a writer teaming up with the other Saber riders, and they have this cool fight. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Do that, Toei. Do a fucking May live show. That'd be awesome. But yeah, no. Was she a horrible character? Absolutely not. I actually quite enjoyed her, and she was very, very cute, and she was the moral support and the positivity, and I think she served her purpose very well.
So Emily, thoughts on May?
Her trying to be a writer and trying to help reminded me of way too much of me trying to be a castranger.
Ikuzuchi sat inside Toma's asshole for half the season. Wow.
Hey, she held it that one time.
She's a ray of sunshine to sleep word, and she gets nothing for it. She got Rintaro.
She gets the fuck Rintaro.
She gets the boy. She got the guy.
She gets the best boy.
She got her knight in shining armor.
I have no idea.
She got her knight in shining armor. One of my favorite shots with her is Rintaro holding May in his arms.
Yeah.
It's adorable.
But I don't even know if that's true because we have all the stuff with the implication of.
I think they wanted to drive it home that they were a couple as hard as possible without literally saying the words. For fuck's sake, they showed up in matching outfits at the end.
I love when people do that.
I don't know.
I love when couples do that.
As much as May did have her points in the show where she was of use, and she was absolutely deserved, I feel like the amount of time she spent being annoying was still far too much. I appreciate her necessity in the story, and her being there was absolutely a source of inspiration for everyone else. But there was so much annoying parts.
I did hate when the three of them were having their kind of promise to each other, and she just kind of was
Don't forget me!
Don't forget me! I was part of there when you made that oath. And it's
I'm number
I'm
4!
just sitting there being like, hey, stop. They care about you. You don't need to be part of their old pact.
Yeah. It was neat that she got to be useful, though. Like, they let her have the book that detected when Megiddo were around, and she had that one part where she solved the salamander thing, where she shot up the flare. And I did feel bad for her when she would get fucking exploded a couple of times.
She almost got eaten by fucking Zeus.
Yeah.
She's like, well, I'm dying.
But, like, it was impossible for them to have her overcome her role as a comic relief character, I feel.
Oh, and then her biggest flaw, horrible with children. Worst babysitter ever. I would never trust her with my kids.
She was kind to them, but yeah, she kept losing them.
Twice! She lost the child
Sora,
twice!
She lost Sora, she lost Luna.
Yep.
No, I would not trust her with children.
Yeah.
God, her as a mother.
How is she supposed to defend humanity when she can't babysit one child at a time? Let's solve that issue first. Alright.
No, they're not!
What?
They're making the Nadeshiko belt!
Oh.
Oh my god!
Oh, I thought they were just posting it like, look, there's a female writer! But...
Yo! Nadeshiko belt!
Oh shit. That's this year.
Kinda want that. I'm not gonna lie.
It is a blue Forza driver, basically. Cool.
In the movie, remember that kid?
No, I don't.
You know, we're talking about that movie.
Alright, so who's next?
The villains.
Well, actually, we haven't talked about we haven't talked about the Shindais yet. Okay, let me get this out of the way. Ryoga was not a character.
No.
He was a walking catchphrase machine.
All I liked about him was the concept of Master Logos having a Kamen Rider as a bodyguard.
His own personal rider.
His own personal Kamen Rider to just go and be his hitman.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that, and that's why I would have preferred Master Logos not being a rider, because I would have just liked him have Durandal do everything for him.
Yeah.
That was cool. Other than that, he was boring.
Yeah.
Reika?
Alright.
Hate her.
This bitch is my biggest problem with this whole fucking show.
She was fine at the start, and then she like had a very strange one.
She started Onisamaing, and I was like, all right.
Despite my hatred,
and nothing, like it's okay. Like we don't know what they're up to, but like it was weird.
Despite how much I hated the whole betrayal arc, Reika played her role fucking perfectly. She manipulated fucking everyone into betraying Toma, and she was damn good at it. And it was so interesting watching her pull off all of this fucking chaos. And then her brother showed up, and she was reduced to an angry tsundere brother complex trope, and not even a good one. And none of it was explained. And the worst part of it is, even after they became good, Reika didn't have any time to answer for the fucking shady bullshit she pulled. They just accept her as a member of their fucking troop of swordsmen right away, and nobody calls her out on all of the shit she did when she first showed up. Not once! No sorry, no questions, fucking nothing! And I hate it! This is my
sort of turned right around.
This is my biggest problem with this entire show! And I hate it, and I hate her!
Do you know what I actually would have liked for Reika's character way more? That she thought
Please
what she
don't
was...
say that you wish she died.
No. Actually, no. Quite the opposite, in fact.
You wish she lived?
You know how she wanted to be like part of Master Logos or whatever like that? She thought what she was doing was right for like Master Logos and the guild.
Uh-huh.
I think she should have kept being manipulated, thinking she was working for the guild. Logos should have been manipulating her the whole time.
That would have been interesting.
And then Durandal, you know, he's also dedicated, but then he's the one who kind of is like, this is not right.
Yeah, have him realize that what he's doing is wrong, and then have her follow him.
And then actually, because now I'm thinking about this now, this is great. And then Reika gets struck down by Logos because he's just like, you're waste. You're nothing to me. I don't care. And he strikes her down. She gets gravely injured, and that's why Durandal sees that the Logos he's always known is a lie, and then he decides to join Toma and their group because he's like, we need to take this fucker down because he injured my sister.
You're my sister!
So he should have been the oh, I love my sister. Like, that would have been funnier instead of Reika being like, oh, Nisama.
Yeah, you know what? That would have been really interesting.
Reverse it. Make him care about his sister a shit fucking ton.
I mean, he did, but he was just really awful at
But
portraying
make
it.
him funny about it.
Yeah.
Make the serious
Then he would
guy
have actually had a personality instead of being a fucking flatboard.
Exactly. Reverse the roles.
Have Reika continue to be stoic and quiet, and then, like, have him worship her, and she's just like, oh, whatever.
Hey, Tomo, do you want to be with marry my sister? She's fucking beautiful, perfect. I know she put your friends against you, but what?
Fucking no.
Master Logo's fucking stupid waste. Yeah.
What? Worst casting in any Toku I've ever seen.
Yeah. I will say this: the villains were awful. They were boring.
Yeah.
Storius was just hate him. Zeus was at least interesting because of the backflips. Legiel was just a fucking walking pile of rage.
Yeah.
Yeah, the backflipping was definitely interesting. It felt like he was taking every chance he could.
Legiel's got his ass kicked by Toma one time, even when it wasn't even in Toma's controlling, kicking Legiel's ass, and Legiel's like, kill Toma, I'm gonna kill and everything he loves!
Me angry now!
Yeah, no, he just fucking, after one fight, that wasn't even Toma fucking kicking his ass.
I hate Sword Flame Boy!
He hates Toma forever. And then he dies anyway.
Yeah, like a bitch!
So, like, there's nothing to say about the villains. They were boring, they weren't interesting, and I just didn't care for them at all. Every time they were on screen, I was like,
The Megiddo honestly weren't even that consequential to the plot, if you think about it.
No. The worst villain still is Adele. Adele is the worst.
Oh, for sure.
Fucking hate that piece of shit.
Yeah.
At least Dan was an interesting villain, and Cronus was an interesting villain, and fucking Betsubo Jinrai was at least cool.
We'll be here forever we start comparing. Let's not.
Tassel. Creepy at first, super fun.
Oh, I went up to him real quick.
I was sad he died. I didn't want him to die. That was unfair.
Yeah. I'm surprised Toma, as the master of Wonderworld, didn't somehow find a way to bring him back.
Yeah. Tassel was fun. But like, shit.
I love how every week he would just say it in a different way.
It was nice seeing him every week. It was kind of sad when he was sort of phased out.
Yeah.
Bros with Yuri, which is pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, just hanging out.
I just feel like he should have been around more with Toma. Like, he should have like mentored Toma.
Yeah.
Showed him the beauties of Wonderworld and stuff.
Yeah.
Great. Luna.
She was there for
plot device.
Literally plot device character.
Like, even like Koyumi was a
I feel like there's so much about her we don't know.
I don't
know, who do you think was worse, Koyumi or Luna?
That's
right.
That's a tough call. At least Koyomi was around the whole show.
When she became White Wizard,
that was badass.
Yeah, that was alright.
Plus, it was really creepy seeing Toma so obsessively chasing over a child.
Running up the steps.
Oh yeah,
it's super funny. But like that, yeah, that's basically everyone. Like the former Saber became Caliber. That was cool. I like that twist. That was nice, even though you saw it fucking coming a mile away.
Oh yeah.
You're like that's not Kento's dad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's it. Like, we're over 2 hours. Goddamn.
Yeah. So, is there anything else about Saber we should talk about?
The moral lesson to be learned from this is, if you have problems, talk to people about them.
Talk it out.
Don't keep them bottled in. You have friends. You have family.
Communicate.
They love you. They will listen to you. Talk to people.
I mean, that is a good lesson.
It is.
Don't just bury your nose in the book.
Also, seal Kuriyami away forever. Don't use the Sword of Darkness. It's bad. It shows you a bad future.
Lock that fucker in a vault.
Yeah.
If you cross any dark swords, yeah, don't use them.
So I feel like Saber, it could have been a lot better, and like the ideas we poured out during this discussion, I think just would have been so much better. Again, Tetsuya Nomura should have wrote the show. You're right. Get an actual JRPG person to fucking write a Kamen Rider.
Kingdom Swords.
Exactly. Kamen Rider. But yeah, so for me, Will I watch Saber again? No, I won't. But, you know, I'll look up Henshin compilations because, like, visually and in terms of the choreography and stuff, the sword play, awesome. Suits were awesome. And, you know, good characters, but...
The 1080p clip of Blades Volume 1 Henshin will be on my hard drive for as long as I live.
Oh, yeah. I will also keep Psycho and Kuriyami forever because I just like the concept of having the two most powerful fucking swords in the series.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sword of Light and Sword of Darkness. Can't fuck with that.
I also want to reiterate how hilarious it was that I tried to create my own OC rider based on Blades.
What's your name?
And twice.
And then they had to
Twice I had to change the name because the first name I came up with was Falchion, and then Kamen Rider Falchion happened. And then I changed the name to Kamen Rider Kalad, as in Khaladbolg, and then that turned out to be the name of Solomon's weapon.
Oh. Wow. Oh, yeah, also King Arthur. That was fucking useless, and we never saw it again.
I love how that was such a plot focus for the first few episodes. And
well,
then
that was Calibur's. This is what I'm going to use to solve my problem, and then he didn't get it, and then that's why he made Zhao Dragon.
I kind of want to see like Calibur Dragon Arthur.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. The book.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have Calibur being wielded by the Arthur robot.
Yeah, Excalibur.
Fuck!
Kamen Rider Excalibur.
That's what he wanted it, because he was Nick Calibur, yeah.
Anyone who was Caliber but is no longer Caliber is an Excalibur.
Fucking imagine if Kento's Calibur fucking stole Arthur from him? And we actually got to see that happen?
Yeah.
Oh, that was what a waste.
Yeah.
What a waste of a power-up.
That's what I'm saying. This show is a lot of missed potential.
It was cool, but it was just so waste of a power-up.
Yeah.
God. It wasn't even fucking Saber wasn't even supposed to actually use it because it didn't actually have a fancy Henshin chime or anything.
Alright, well, we've droned on much too long about this. Saber, really excellent ideas, wasted potential.
It's like Q Ranger.
Yeah. Well, I like Q Ranger.
I also like Q Ranger. Anyways, I'm ready for Revice, baby. I think it's going to be super fun. It's the 50th anniversary, which I know that fucking pains Gar a lot because he loves anniversaries for stuff, and he likes them being treated right. That's why he likes Ultraman so much. Because Ultraman knows how to treat anniversaries with utmost respect.
Ultraman just handles its own franchise way better.
It does. It really does. But no, I'm so ready for Revice. I cannot wait for this week. So hopefully I'm here next week to talk about the premiere episode because
we'll see.
I hope so.
Anyways,
I know.
Kikai, Sentai Castranger. You know what's been subbed for a while that we haven't talked about yet? The Yodana special.
Oh yeah. Boy. No.
So let's get into some ASMR.
Damn it.
Alright, so that's going to be our feature topic next week. Actually, yeah, I think we can fit it in, because usually we spend the first episode of a show talking about theories and such, but I think we can fit that in.
Yeah, that'll be quick.
Alright, so, until then, thank you everyone for listening, watching, liking, favoriting, sharing, subscribing, hitting the bell, and being awesome! As usual, our hijinks are at castranger.podbean.com. You can find the rest of our shit from there. You've heard me say this
Let
enough.
us know what you thought of Saber.
Yeah, let us know what you thought, who you liked, who you didn't, and what horrible fates some characters should have met.
We'll see you in the next chapter.
Bye-bye!
Bye.
Thanks for listening, everyone.